we should be live. Just like that, it says that we have some frames. It's giving us kilobits.
Woo!
It's giving us a counter. So Ashley's going to check to see if we're live. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, hello.
Okay,
just skip
the
ahead
Discord
to where
said that we are.
You can skip ahead to where you can see that we've like moved cards, and that'll be where we're talking about cards here. But yeah, we're going to make sure that we're able to be heard and that everything is good in that sense. But other than that, we should be good to go. Looks like we got an ad playing on Ashley's phone.
I'm sorry.
So
it was also at full volume. I'm sorry.
Well, at least your Twitch volume is working.
It was.
We will find out if we are live, and then we're going to jump right into this because we only have so much time. But yeah, she's no longer on the Twitch. She is responding to people.
I'm responding to my mother.
I know.
Who's supporting me.
I'm glad you're responding to her. I'm just saying.
I am. I left on red for a couple hours and I felt really bad. This is a long ad.
Yep.
You guys, there's still 7 seconds left on this ad. It's ridiculous.
It's the same Epic Universes from Universals.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my god, there we are.
And we should be there. We should be live. Does it look okay? And can you hear us?
Yeah, it's delayed because I just said, oh, look, there we are. It looks good.
All right. So remember,
good.
camera is over there.
Hi, camera.
And I'm actually, you know what? Why don't I just be in control of mouse?
Please.
Can we establish that?
And thank you.
Even though you're talking, like we'll both be talking. Okay, so Welcome to our Aetherdrift limited set review. So the set is not fully out yet when we're at the time of recording this, and we're going to try to get this out. Well, one, we're streaming it, so you guys know when we're recording this if you're watching the live stream. But two, if you watch this on YouTube, we're going to try to get this onto YouTube before the official release of the set. But it is post pre-release, so we have a little bit of experience with the cards. And we also just didn't sit down to... I explained in the last video that we recorded, which if you guys haven't checked it out, you can go check out our pre-release video. That's the one I'm talking about. Where I've been sort of between whether or not I want to, like, reveal the cards to myself. Because I should, and I should be informed, and that's the best way to be a drafter and a limited player. And also not reveal the cards to myself, so when I open the packs, I can be more surprised and be like, oh, that's super cool, or like, you know, because...
Yeah.
I've decided, you know what, it's probably better to be informed, so we're going to have moments like this where we get to read all the cards, and now we get to go, oh, that's super cool, I hope I open it, and then inevitably we won't. So, that's sort of where we're at. And we're going to make this quick, because we have, like, what, 276 cards to get through? According to this.
We've got a lot of cards, not a lot of time.
Here we go. 2 and a white, air response unit, flying vigilance 3/3, crew 1. I think this is totally playable. It's a decent flyer with vigilance. This was actually played against me in pre-release, so I got some experience on that side. And crew 1 is usually pretty easily crewable, so I'm going to say very playable card. Going to land at about a 5 out of 10 for me.
It's cute.
This is the other art for those of you that wanted to see it.
It's just cute. Wherever the racers go, hope follows. Also, the Wizards of the Coast decided that in this set, they were going to make the vehicles much easier to crew. So there are a lot more creatures that you're able to crew with, because they are like 1 or 2, and also most of the crews are 1 or 2. Same amount.
Take us away.
Alacrian Armory. 4 cost creatures you control get +0/+1. Have vigilance at the beginning of combat on your turn. Choose up to 1 target mount or vehicle you control. Until end of turn, that permanent becomes settled if it's a mount and becomes an artifact creature if it's a vehicle. Honestly, that's a lot of words. But basically, it just means that you get to choose a mount or vehicle and you get to do it for free. It just becomes saddled or a creature for free. I think it's pretty playable. Don't love the +0/+1. Love the vigilance. But I think it's pretty playable. It's a pretty good card. Your thoughts?
1 to 10.
Oh, forgot about that. 6.
Really?
7.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Damn.
Reminder that like 7 to 10 is your rare range, right? So like
shit.
you gotta remember.
Yeah, okay.
If
like
you're giving
4.
this a 7, what do you give to like,
I don't know.
8/8 trampler?
This is the first time I'm doing the set review.
No, I get it. I personally
I made the presentation last time. I did not do anything for this.
We're trying to limit the backlash here, but I like the rebuttals, but I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 10 because it's playable in certain themes, but if you don't have a creature or a mount or a vehicle, this 4 mana do nothing in your hand, so.
Period.
Yeah, no alt arts. All right,
Your turn.
first rare that we're talking about today. I don't know. that's good enough.
Good enough.
Basri, Tomorrow's Champion. This is a single white 2/1. You can pay a white, tap it, and exert him to create a 1/1 white cat creature token with lifelink. And he also has cycling for 2 and a white. When you cycle this card, cats you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Not going to do a whole lot unless you can buff up those cats, and you probably can't, or you're just playing a bunch of other cats, because realistically you can't cycle him and use him to make cats. You have to kind of pick between the two.
Exactly.
It is playable in cats, but I don't know, based off of what I've seen, how many cats there are in this set. I don't really know if that's that playable of a archetype. I do think it's a totally playable card. I mean, 1 mana 2/1 is perfectly fine. You can start making some cats and go a little aggro with this, which is what we saw in the pre-release. Personally, I don't think it's a bomb.com card, but I'll give it about a... I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
I'm going to give it about a 6 or 7. It kind of popped off in the game that I saw it in.
And there's your printings. This one looks pretty dope. And I guess this is an art card. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, that's pretty cool art. So, although I there's not really cats in there. Oh no, there's cats like right there.
There's cats. Cool. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm not going crazy. It's fine. All right, next one. Take it away.
Cool. All right, Brightfield Glider. Possum Mount Vigilance. It's a 1 cost. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, it gets +1/+2. Gains flying until end of turn. Saddle 3. Don't love that it's not flying all the time, but I get it because it's a possum. They're kind of doing like a sugar glider type deal here.
It's so cute.
It is. It's really cute. Anyways, I think it's pretty good, pretty playable. It's a 1-drop. You've got Vigilance on it. Saddle 3 isn't that hard. It might be a saddle you can't do for a little while, but still, you've at least got something on the field. Let's be real here. I'm gonna give this about a 3.
Wow.
Turn.
Yeah, I'd give it about a 4 out of 10.
Oh, I don't get to do Brightfield Mustang. Boo.
So, huh?
I don't get to do a card I actually played.
If you want to, we'll...
Alright, Brightfield Mustang. Creature, Horse Mount. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, untap it, put a +1/+1 counter on it, saddle 1. Super easy to saddle that bad boy. It's a 3/3. It's a really good card. Basically, just pseudo vigilance. Every time that you're gonna attack with it while it's saddled, you're basically is gonna go tapped. You're gonna untap it and get to put the +1/+1 on it before it even deals any damage. So that makes it harder for it to be blocked, because then it becomes a 4/4, and it also could ping for more damage. I like this card a lot. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah, I think 5 out of 10 is about where I land too. I mean, really, you should never play this as a 4 mana 3/3. You should always be able to saddle it. Saddle 1's very doable, so.
Especially in this set.
I don't hate it because it's a 4 mana 4/4 most of the time with weak vigilance that probably will get bigger, but might not. We'll see. All right, next one we have is Broadcast Rambler. When this vehicle enters, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token. So it should be noted, this thing creates a creature that can crew it because it has crew 1. So a 5/4 creature that can be crewed with the creature it creates, or you could use that to crew something else with crew 1. And it's a 5-drop. I don't hate this. I think it's perfectly playable in your vehicle mount decks, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10.
Boop boop.
And there's your other printing of it. A little weird, but it's there. What'd you give it?
I kind of forgot that I had to give a rating on all these ones. I think it's pretty good. I'll give it like 4.
Okay, that's what I gave it. So.
Bulwark Ox. It's an Ox mount. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Sacrifice this creature. Creatures you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Saddle 1. So basically, instead of wanting to, it's a 2/2. Wanting to put the +1/+1 counters on this one, you're going to want to be putting the +1/+1 counters on everything else so that you can eventually sack this creature and actually give them hexproof and indestructible, which is kind of not what you always want to do with mounts. I think it's a okay card. I'm going to give it 3, 4. I don't know. It's okay. But like you gotta saddle that baby and attack a lot to get the actual like decent payoff of creatures you control with counters on them game hexproof and indestructible. Like realistically, that's only gonna be great if you have a wide board. Alright, your quick 2 cents?
I'm going to give it like a 5 out of 10. It's a 2 mana 2/2 that does a heck of a lot more. That's pretty good. It doesn't sound insane, but then you got to remember it's 2 mana, so I think it does a lot for a 2 mana. Here's your alt arts. But I don't think it's insane. Again, we've covered 2 rares now, I think, and neither of them were bomb.com.
They're not crazy.
All right, next we have Canyon Vaulter. Whenever this creature saddles and mounts a vehicle during your main phase, that mounted vehicle gains flying until end of turn, and it is notably a 2-mana 3/1. In this format, particularly 2-mana 3/1s are a little bit more powerful because they can saddle up to saddle 3, and in this case, it can also give that creature flying, which is pretty powerful. I think generally speaking, 2-mana 3/1s are acceptable, and in this case, it has a pretty good upside. So I think that for a uncommon that sits at a pretty high level uncommon, I'm going to give it a 5.
I'll give it like a 4. That's pretty good.
Take it away.
Cloudspire Captain. Creature, human pilot. It's a 3 cost. 2/3. Mounts and vehicles you control get +1/+1. This creature saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles as though it were its power were 2 or greater. Honestly, would have killed to have this in my pre-release deck. This is really good. Honest to God, for an uncommon, this is really, really good. So I'm going to give it like a 6.
I'd give it like a 5 out of 10, but same reasons. All right, moving on. Next, we have Collision Course. Let's see. Choose one. Collision Course deals X damage, 1 and a white. Deals X damage to target creature or X to the number of permanents you control that are creatures and or vehicles. That's decent, but requires you to have a board and then destroy target artifact. So this is removal, but it's sketchy removal, right? Because if you're in a situation where you don't have much on your board and then you pull this in hopes that it's going to save you, it's not going to save you. So I give sketchy removal maybe a 4 out of 10. You do need removal, but this is not your best option.
I'll give it like a 3.
Yeah, it might actually have been better.
Daring Mechanic.
I might go down to 3. You saying it made me think that.
Fair. Alright, Daring Mechanic, 3 cost. Creature, human artificer. You can pay 3 and a white. Put a +1/+1 counter on target mount or vehicle. It's a 3/3. Honestly not bad. It's a 3 for 3. Realistically, like, that's not terrible. You can also do something with it. But realistically, like, I mean, that's pretty good. It's a common. I'm gonna give it like a 3.
3 mana 3/3 that in the long run can put +1/+1 counters. I think for me bumps it up to a 4, but same reasons. So, yeah. I want to just random note, but it's art like this that just sort of removes me from the set because it just doesn't look magic-y at all.
Nope,
but all right, moving on.
It's giving Dukes of Hazzard.
Maybe a little. Detention Chariot. 4 and 2 whites. 6/6. When this vehicle enters, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until this vehicle leaves the battlefield. So it's your what is that? Banishing Light, I think is the name of it, right? Enchantment sort of, but effect, but on a vehicle here that can be crewed and attack. But you have to remember, if you attack with this and they are able to double block it or something like that and kill it, then they're going to get whatever you exiled with it back.
Fair.
So because of that, I just think it's kind of crappy removal all around. Personally,
it really is.
You can play it in your mounts and vehicle decks, but I just don't think it's wild. I'm going to give it like a 4 out of 10.
I'd give it like a 4.
And I don't like this art at all. I don't really like these like out there arts that they have in the in this set as much. But all right, take it away.
Gallant Strike. It's an instant destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. Has cycling 2. It's 2 cost. It's pretty good. It's removal. It's not the best removal out there. There's better removal, which we'll get to. But it's all right. I'll give it like a 4.
Okay.
There's not a lot with toughness 4 or greater in this set. I'm gonna be honest. There's just not.
I'll give it around 4 as well. All right, next we have Glory Heath
Lynx.
It's a lifelink 2/3. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, search your library for a basic plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle with saddle 2. I think this is great. Holy crap, think about that. 2 mana 2/3 with lifelink is already very playable and limited. Again, we're talking about these cards from a limited perspective.
Absolutely.
Extremely playable. And then on top of that, having the benefit of if you can saddle this to just start, it doesn't ramp you, but it keeps you hitting your land drops. And mind you, this isn't like put on top of your library. This is put into your hand, so it's the equivalent of a card draw. In fact, it's card draw that's guaranteed to be your lands. So I think this is an extremely good card. I'm actually going to give this a 6 out of 10. Our highest score, tied for our highest score so far, coming in from an uncommon.
Yeah, I'll probably get a 6 out of 10 too.
Nice.
All right. Guardian Sunmare. It's a horse mount ward 2. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, search your library for a non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less, put on the battlefield, then shuffle. Saddle 4. That's honestly pretty freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 5 cost, 5/5. Realistically, you're going to want to just be putting whatever you want on the battlefield because mana value 3 or less. So that's the stuff like you could saddle this with, you can saddle other things with, crew other things with. So that's a really good card, honestly. I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I think this sits around 7 for me too. It's not like
It's not crazy.
it's not the bombiest card I've ever seen, but I
I
still
like
think
the
it's
red
pretty good.
card. I
Again,
think it's
I
really
don't
cool.
love the out there arts here. I don't know what you would call this, but the just like over the top.
Like a pop culture art almost.
Yeah, maybe that's a good way to say it. But there's the art in case you guys wanted to see them. All right, next we have Guide Light Synergist. This is a 0/4 for 4. Flying, this creature gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. So it shouldn't be a 0/4. In fact, it never will be because it'll at least count itself. So it's at least going to be a 1/4. The catch here is that you could have a really, really big flyer. But I noticed that there's not a ton of like artifact. Like, yeah, you're gonna have some
No.
thopters that you can make, and there are other things that can make some artifacts for you. But the reality of the situation is, I never found myself, and I had a bit of an artifact theme having more than like 3 or 4. So then this is like a 4/4 flyer for 4, which is fine. But that's its ceiling in that sense, and then it's way weaker than that. So I'm gonna give it like a 4 out of 10. It's playable, but it doesn't like make your deck.
I'm gonna give it like a 3. Alright, interface ace. Artifact creature, robot pilot. This creature saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles using its toughness rather than its power.
Oh, that's nice.
Whenever this creature becomes tapped during your turn, untap it. This ability triggers only once each turn. So basically, you get to saddle or crew using it, which makes it become tapped. You get to untap it, and it's still defender later on. That's a pretty good card. I'm not gonna lie. For a common, that's not bad. Also, it's only 2 cost. So realistically, I'm gonna give this one like a 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 mana, saddle up to 8 if you want. It doesn't say you can't retap it, right? So you could just tap this to saddle and then tap it to saddle again, you
Sure,
know? So
absolutely.
if you had like 2 things with saddle 4, you could have your single 2-drop saddling both of them,
Absolutely,
which is,
yeah.
I think this, again, if you don't have mounts or vehicles, because does this work just for mounts or
Mounts
and cruise
and
vehicles?
vehicles.
Okay, so if you don't have mounts or vehicles, no. But if you do, yeah, this is a great playable card. I'd give it.
Absolutely.
I'd actually think I might even give it like a 5. Well, the no power might bring it down to a 4, but I'm right there with you. All right, next we have Leonin Surveyor. Start your engine. So for those of you that don't know this mechanic, we'll explain it only because it's here for the first time. We will not explain it again. But if you have no speed, you will start at 1 speed, and that will increase once per turn, each of the turns where an opponent loses life. So every time you do damage to your opponents, once you have played something with Start Your Engines, it'll go up to 2, and then 3, and then 4. And once you're at 4, you are at max speed, and you start getting max speed benefits. So in this case, this is a 2/2 for 2. During your turn, it has first strike, and if it has max speed, you can pay 3, exile it from your graveyard to draw a card.
Yeah.
That is useful because it essentially says, hey, if this dies before you have max speed, it still will get that benefit later on, which is nice. But I don't think this is crazy by any means, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10.
I give it like a 3. Alright, Light Shield Parry. Instant target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, cycling 2. It's a 1-drop. That's not terrible, honestly. You basically just there. Okay, great. Your opponent blocks with something that's gonna kill you. Boom. 2/2, and you can cycle it realistically. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna give it like a 3.
Yeah, I think it lands at a 3 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10 for me. Combat tricks aren't great, but at the end of the day, having cycling does really help out because if you need to cycle it, you can cycle it. All right, next we have Light Wheel Enhancements. Enchant creature or vehicle for 1 white. Start your engine, so it's going to get your speed going. Enchanted permanent is +1/+1. It has vigilance, which is nice. Because if you're swinging with something really big to get speed, you don't have to sacrifice having a blocker. And then max speed, if you hit max speed and you have lost this enchantment, you may cast this from your graveyard, which is really cool. Something that can also be noted about that is it does not say, then the next time you lose it, exile it. So realistically, this can keep coming back as long as you're at max speed.
It can.
I think it's a very playable 1-drop. I think it's a very good enchantment, honestly. Enchantment auras, specifically, are pretty hard to play because you kind of feel down a card, right? If you play it on a creature, then that creature gets removed. You just took a loss for a card. But in this case, it kind of makes up for that with having the whole max speed thing. So I think it's a totally playable, like, 4 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 5 because I played it. It's a really good
That's
card.
fine.
You literally can just keep casting from your graveyard. It's fantastic. And it's 1 cost. It doesn't get any more expensive every time you cast out of the graveyard.
All right, you got it.
Lotus Card Disciple. I also played this card. Flying. When this creature enters, target creature or vehicle gains lifelink and indestructible until the turn. It's a 3-drop for 2. It's honestly pretty good. It's got that flying. You want to make sure that you do have some kind of creature or vehicle, but the vehicle should already be crewed by the time you bring this out. Just because it's honestly a pretty good card. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. It's a pretty good card. It's nice just to have a flyer that's for 2. It really helps you with your speed as long as you do have your engine started. It's a good card. So I'm gonna give it like a 4.
Yeah, I think for me it probably lands in that 3 to 4 range as well.
Yeah.
So. All right, next we have Nesting Bot. This is a 1-drop 1/1. Start your engines. When it dies, create a 1/1 and max speed. This creature gets +1/+0. So I think this is just generally great. You get it early, it starts your speed. You get it late, you probably have max speed and it's at least something. It dies, you get another body. It's great at chump blocking. It's great at crewing. It's just everything you want in a 1-drop in a relatively quick format. I think this is insane. I think I'm going to give this like a 6 out of 10. Not because nothing there is crazy, but for a 1-drop, this is everything you want it to be. So
Fair. I think I made it a 5. It didn't do too much for me.
Okay. All right. Here's your servo token. If you you guys can't really see that, but it's fine. All right. Take us away.
Okay, Perilous Snare. It's an artifact. Start your engines. When this artifact enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. Basically, Banishing Light, just worse. Max speed. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Activate only as a sorcery. It's pretty good. I don't know how. I mean, okay, great. When you eventually hit max speed, you can put a +1/+1 counter on it on target creature or vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to activate it as a sorcery. You can't activate it at instant speed. I don't know, y'all. I mean, I'm gonna give it like a 5.
Yeah, I think for me it lands 5 or 6 area. I want to point out that this is exactly Banishing Light, basically, except it's an artifact, not an enchantment, because it's the same cost, with the upside of it starts your engines if you haven't, and if you do have max speed, you're just getting a counter every turn. That's pretty good value. So that's why I think for me probably like 6, but it's still not like bomb.com.
All right, next.
All right, Price of the Road. It's a Zombie Cat Warrior, 3 and a white for a 2/5 Vigilance. Start your engines, and if you have max speed at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature or vehicle you control gains double strike until end of turn. I do love that this does not say it gains double strike, just target creature does.
Yeah.
So at worst, you can choose it. At best, you could choose an 8/8 Trampler. So, yeah, I think this is a very, very playable card. I think 2/5 Vigilance is fine for a 4-drop. It's not crazy, but it does start your engines if you haven't, which hopefully by a 4-drop you probably have if that's something you're wanting to do. But once you do hit max speed, this is a very, very beneficial card. So that toughness of 5 is also going to keep it around for a while. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 5. Alright, Ride's End. It's an instant. This spell costs 3 less to cast. If it targets a tapped creature, it's a 4 and 1 more. Exile target creature or vehicle. It's pretty good. I had it played against me. It's pretty good, honestly. You know, I'm gonna give it like a 3. It's something we see almost every set. Realistically, some version of this with instead of exile target creature or vehicle, it's exile blank or blank. So, you know, it's something we see all the time. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yeah, I mean, it should be noted that sometimes it says destroy, this does say exile, which helps this card's case, and it is an instant speed, not sorcery speed, so you don't have to, like, get attacked and then on your turn remove it. You can actually hold up the mana, wait for them to attack, and then 2 mana remove it. So, you can get a little burned if they don't attack, but, you know, if they're not attacking you, that's probably a win. I give it, like, a 5 out of 10. It's good removal. Cool. Probably one of the best in white. All right, Roadside Assistance, enchant creature or vehicle. When this aura enters, you create a 1/1 that saddles as if it were a 3/1, and enchant permanence gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. Now, giving something enchanted lifelink is pretty good. I also like that, again, a big problem with auras is it kind of feels like a 2-for-1, but you're going to get a body out of this, and you're going to get a body that can crew, so that's pretty nice. All things considered, I don't think it's broken, but it keeps it from being too weak, and I'd say maybe like 4 out of 10.
I'm going to give it like a 4.
Very good.
All right, Salvation Engine. Artifact vehicle. Other artifact creatures you control get +2/+2 whenever this vehicle attacks. Return them to 1 target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Crew 6. It's a 6/10 for 5. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to crew 6. Honestly, there's just not that many large creatures. So you're going to end up having to like tap some things that you don't necessarily want to tap to crew it. Or you're going to have a lot of little things. And that just doesn't seem like something you're really going to have. It's pretty good, I'll admit. Because, like, other artifact creatures you control do get +2/+2. But there's just not that many other artifact creatures. A lot of artifact vehicles, not a lot of artifact creatures. So, you know, I'm just going to give it a 6. Maybe a 5. It's not that good.
So I'm going to drop in here with, like, a 7, because I think it's very playable and is a little bit stronger than a 5 or 10 or a 6. But I do not think, again, that it's the level of bombs we've seen in previous sets. I mean, usually when you see that mythic symbol, you get really excited. And there's a couple of cards that really will win you the game if you play it, and I just don't think this quite does it. I will make 1 point before moving on that the +2/+2 to other artifact creatures does help the crewing, because it will buff up the creatures that you hope to crew.
There aren't that many artifacts.
If you have 2 Thopters, then that's going to be 6 with the +2/+2 that they're getting.
Fair, but still, it's hard to make those.
Keep it in mind.
All right, Sky Seer's Chariot. Oh, is this yours?
Yeah, technically.
Sorry.
That's all good. Sky Seer's Chariot. Flying vehicle, 3/3 flying. As this vehicle enters, you choose a non-land card and name. Activated ability of sources with the chosen name costs 2 more to activate crew 2. So you guys might be able to see that this card has a couple of versions of it that are a little pricier, and by pricier I mean like sub $1 or around $1. That is only because this is probably very playable and constructed. This is not crazy in limited, if I'm being honest with you. I just don't think that your opponent might not even have something with an activated ability. Now, a 2-mana 3/3 flyer with crew 2 is like okay, but I think that's where this card lands, is like okay. I'm gonna give it like a 5 out of 10.
Spectacular Pile Up. Sorcery, all creatures and vehicles lose indestructible until end of turn, then destroy all creatures and vehicles. This is pretty good. There's a lot of things that'll give things indestructible in this set I've seen. So realistically, this is really good because it will, and then you basically destroy all creatures and vehicles. That's pretty awesome. It's also cycling 2. It's a 5 cost. I think this is pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah, I think board wipes are playable, so I probably give it around a 6 to a 7 as well out of 10. And here's some printings for those of you that want to see this version. Cool. Bam. All right, Spot Cycle Scouter. All right, 3/2 when it enters Scry 2 vehicle with a crew 1. All right, it's a playable creature that, crew 1's very doable, and the Scry 2 is just an enters trigger, right? So that's pretty good. I like it. It's great. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 playable.
I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah, great. And that's the really cool art that you pulled.
Actually have.
Yeah.
I
used to have. You got a much better card out of it.
I have a much better card.
All right.
All right, Sundial Dawn Tyrant. Legendary artifact creature. It's a construct. It's a vanilla creature. It's a 3/3.
So there's one legendary monocolored creature in every monocolor in this set. People have said the white one is trash, and I agree. A 2-drop 3/3 is pretty trash. I mean, I don't know if I said it earlier. I think I said legendary, but it's legendary vanilla creature. They have no actual text, right? It's flavor text. So 2-mana 3/3 is great. It's a strictly better Grizzly Bears, but at the end of the day, we've come past that at this point, right? Yeah. Like, this set has, 2-mana 3/4s with stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's off.
It's not great.
All right,
Swiftwing Assailant. This is a 3/3 bird warrior with flying that starts your engines when it hits, and it has flying, so you're probably going to get some speed pretty quickly. And when you do, it's going to become a 3/4 and have vigilance. Pretty nice. I think very playable, but doesn't stand out to me, so I'm going to give it a 4/10.
Very cool.
4 out of 10.
I'll make it 4 or 5.
Nice.
Tune Up is a 4-cost sorcery. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's a vehicle, it becomes an artifact creature. That's pretty cool just because it does automatically make your vehicle from the graveyard become an artifact creature all the time. You don't have to crew it. You can just use it as an artifact creature. But obviously you have to have a vehicle that then attacked or blocked and then got put in the graveyard. I don't know. I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah. I'm going to give it, again, I think it's very situational. Obviously there are ceilings where, you get that mythic from earlier that has crew 6. Woo! Now you never have to crew it again, and literally. Fine.
Great.
But realistically, it also has such a floor where it just sits in your hand and doesn't do too much, so.
No, you have to have a vehicle in the...
Yeah, 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10 maybe is where I said. Also, I'm not going to show printings anymore because
we are like a 10th through the set, and we are 30 minutes in.
We knew it was going to be a long video.
Yes. But still.
Is it my turn?
Nope. Unswerving Sloth. Oh, is it? Yes.
Okay. Sloth mount 5/5 for 5. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, it gains indestructible until end of turn, and you untap all creatures you control. That's pretty good. I mean, Saddle 4 is a pretty tough one to hit, but it is pretty good. And a 5/5 for 5 is fine. It just, again, doesn't stand out as crazy good to me, but I would play it as a 4 or 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right, here we have another...
Valor's Flagship. We have a 7 cost. It's a legendary artifact vehicle, flying, first strike, lifelink, crew 3, cycling, X, 2, and a white. When you cycle this card, create X/1/1 colorless pilot creature tokens with this token saddles mounts into crews of vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. It's 7/7. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like kind of a lot. It feels like not a great draft card, if I'm being honest. Because when are you really ever going to get to 7 mana, especially when you have 3 white? That's a lot. The cycling on it makes sense, but like it just feels like a lot. Like why would I ever cycle? Like why would I ever? I don't know, y'all. I don't love this card. I'm gonna give it like a 7. Your turn.
Interesting.
Quick.
She gives it one of the highest ratings of the day and says she doesn't love the card. I think this is a bomb. I think that it is obviously a top end, but I think it's a great top end, especially if you're in a vehicles or mounts deck. So yeah,
Ooh.
I mean you're gonna be if you're in that type of deck, you're gonna be able to crew 3. Flying first strike lifelink 7/7 just wins you the game. Like if they cannot remove this, you won. So the reality of the situation, yeah, I think it's a bomb. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
All right, cool. Voyager Glide Car. Your turn.
When this vehicle enters, you scry 1. It's a 2/3 for 1. Tap 3 other untapped creatures you control until end of turn. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature and gains flying. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. So you can tap other untapped creatures you control to crew it, or you can just crew it with 1. If you do the first one, it's going to get bigger. But that's 3 other untapped creatures you control, which is pretty difficult. I can see this being powerful in like constructed decks for sure, but I just don't know how well this is going to come out. Now, 1 mana 2/3 crew 1 is already a very playable card, so because of that, it's going to land at about like a 5 to 6 for me.
Okay, cool. Voyager Quick Welder. It's a 3-cost artifact creature, robot artificer. Artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. It's 2/4. Pretty good for common, honestly. I'm gonna give it like a 4.
Yeah, 3 mana 2/4 that makes things cheaper. I'm sitting at a 4 or 5. Yeah. All right, we're on to blue. Where are we looking at time wise? Like right at 31 minutes. Yeah, we're gonna be here for a while.
Oh yeah, this is not gonna be sub 2 hours.
No.
We're looking
I could have told you
at
that.
least 2.5.
I could have told you that. Well, we can try to go a little faster.
We got the speed run. We can do it.
I read this one, did I not? Or did
No,
you?
I read
Oh,
that
my bad.
one.
All right, here we go. Aether Siphon. Artifact. Start your engines. 1 into blue. You can pay 2 tap it to draw a card. And max speed, whenever you draw a card, each opponent mills 2 cards, which is very powerful in certain constructed formats, but this just isn't going to do that much in this.
Fair.
It's just not. Yes, is very powerful in certain decks that are constructed, but in limited, yeah, I'm going to say like 3 out of 10.
Yeah. Alright, bounce off. Instant. Return target creature or vehicle to its owner's hand. It's a 1 cost. Yep. Good card. We've seen it almost every set. I'm gonna give it a 2. It's a good card. It's
Just
let me
said
see
good
it.
card and gave it the lowest score of the entire video.
It's not unique. We see it in every set.
I think it's very playable. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10.
Great.
All right.
Okay, Lorna.
Lorna, Coral Tyrant. This is, for the record, the legendary mono vanilla creature. 1 in a blue for a 0/8. Very playable. I mean, no one's going to attack you for, like, anything if you drop this turn 2. I think it's very unique, very playable, very fun. So, yeah, love it. It's great. I'm going to give it, honestly, for a 2-drop, 0/8 is so good. I'm going to give that, like, 6 out of 10. This thing is just going to stall the game for so long.
I mean, fair.
Like, if I had this in Simic Do Nothing that I built, it would be so much easier to get to the top end.
Yeah.
So, anyways. Next 20.
Woo. Alright, diversion unit. Flying. Pay a blue, sacrifice this creature, counter target instant or sorcery spell, unless its controller plays 3. It's a 2-cost, 2/1. Honestly, it's not bad. You basically get a counter spell. I'm gonna give it a 2, 3. 3. It's gonna be a 3. I'll go 4. 4.
I land about a 4 or 5.
Great.
All right, flood the engine, enchantment, or enchant creature or vehicle. When it enters, you tap it, and then it doesn't untap. Lose all abilities and doesn't untap. It's that card. You guys know that card. It's fine. It's totally playable, but there are better removal spells. But for blue, it's about what it can get. 4 out of 10.
All right, Gear Seeker Serpent. It's a 7-cost. Affinity for artifacts. So basically, get some artifacts. You can pay 5 and a blue, and this creature can't be blocked this turn. It's 5/6. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3. I mean, realistically, a 4. It's a pretty big thing. As long as you have artifacts. Just there's not that many artifacts in this deck. Not deck. Set.
Yeah.
That thing. Yeah, I mean, it's alright.
Lands around a 4 for me,
Yep.
too. I would have loved if this ability cost 1 less generic for each artifact you controlled as well.
Right.
That would make it
That
a
would
much
be
more playable
great.
card. All right, Glitch Ghost Surveyor is a flying 2/2. It starts your engines, and then if it dies, you can exile it to draw a card. Very much like what we've seen before in the white version of this that had the first strike.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't scream anything crazy to me. I give it like a 3 to 4 out of 10.
Cool. Dilate Optimizer, it's a 2-cost. It's an artifact creature robot. You can tap it out of blue, spend this mana only to cast an artifact spell or activate an ability. It's a 2/1. It's alright. I'm gonna give it a 2.
Interesting. Yeah, I probably land around a 3 or a 4, but I don't think it's bad. All right, Howler's Heavy Seal Pirate, which I think is so funny. I love this art. Cycling for 1 and a blue, and then when you cycle this card, target creature or vehicle an opponent controls gets -3/-0. So it's a 4-drop 3/4 that can kind of act as a bit of a combat trick, which is unique. I like that for its uniqueness, but I don't think it's crazy powerful. Again, lands around like a 4.
Yeah. Okay, you take this card.
All right, Hull Drifter. It's a 5 mana. When it enters, based on the name, you guys probably saw this coming. When it enters, you draw 2 cards. It's a 3/2 flying vehicle that crew 3. More often than not, though, this just kind of becomes 5 mana draw 2 with the tiniest bit of upside. And I just found that it was really hard to put into a deck. So because of experience, I have to rate this down to like a 2 or a 3. It is one of the worst cards unless you like are very, very heavily crew and like vehicle and mount themed. It's just tough to play.
All right, Keen Buccaneer. This is Vigilance Exhaust, 1 and a blue. Draw a card, then discard a card.
Sorry.
Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. I was like, I can't see. It's a 3-cost 2/3. It's alright. It's alright. I'm gonna give it a 3.
I like the vigilance on it, and I like drawing a card off of it. Now, you do have to discard a card, which stinks, but it's still looting, so yeah, I give it about a 4. Memory Guardian, affinity for artifacts, which is nice, so this thing can come out pretty cheap. It's a flying 3/4 artifact, so, you know, it's going to help your other affinities for artifacts. It is a pretty good affinity. It's pretty good if you already have artifacts. It's also pretty good if you need it to make other things that you need artifacts for. I think it's totally playable. Also lands right around that 4 out of 10 category for me.
Love it. Scroll down. There you go. Midnight Mangler, artifact vehicle. During turns other than yours, this vehicle is an artifact creature. Crew 2. It's a 2-cost 3/3. This is actually pretty good because it does become actually a pretty good blocker. You can actually do something with it. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 4.
Yeah, 4 out of 10 for me. I like the unique mechanic on it though. All right, here we have a rare Mindspring Merfolk, 1/1/1 Merfolk Wizard with Exhaust. We haven't actually explained Exhaust, but the way that works is you get to activate it one single time. There's been cards with Exhaust on it, but let's just explain that. In this case, you actually get to choose, though. Exhaust, pay X, and 2 blue, tap it to draw X card, and then put a +1/+1 counter on each Merfolk creature you control. Very, very, very playable in, like, Merfolk constructed. In this, I haven't seen that many Merfolks, so this is really just at a certain point you can draw a bunch of cards, which is still a very playable ability. If you pull this early on, you've got a 1/1. Great. If you pull it later, you can maybe get that exhaust ability and draw a decent number of cards. It doesn't bomb out the game, but I think it lands at the 6 or 7 just because of how many cards it can draw.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Wind Rider. Legendary creature, human wizard pilot. It's a 4-cost. When this creature enters, create a 3/2 colorless vehicle artifact token creature with crew 1. Artifact token with crew 1. Vehicles you control have flying. Whenever one or more creatures you control with flying deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. It's 2/4. I'm actually going to give this one like an 8. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds like that's a lot on a card. I mean, your vehicles have flying. You're drawing cards when they do damage to your opponent. You're creating a vehicle that has flying. So even if you don't already have one, it creates one. Now, this sort of just reads like build me in Commander. Like, this just sort of reads like the commander of a Commander deck. But I think if I pull this in Limited, I'm happy. Like, I am probably heading into a vehicle-themed deck just in hopes of pulling this and getting to draw a bunch of cards off of it. I think it lands in that 8 to 9 category for me.
All right, cool.
Nimble Thopterus. This is a 3/2 for 4 that when it enters creates a artifact Thopter. Perfectly playable, but it doesn't, like, usually when you see those types of things, they, like, double artifacts, so it's like an artifact that makes another artifact, so you can get, like, 2 artifacts really quickly. This doesn't do it because it's just an artificer. But I think it's fine. It lands in that 3 to 4 for me.
Possession Engine. It's 5-cost. When this vehicle enters, gain control of target creature and opponent controls for as long as you control the vehicle. This vehicle, that creature can attack or block for as long as you control this vehicle. Crew 3. It's a 5/5. It's 5-cost. I mean, it's pretty okay because a 5-drop, 5-cost, whatever. 5/5/5. Boom. Done. Numbers. The other thing is, like, okay, great. Like, you get that thing, but you can't do with it unless you're using it just to crew. But it's all you can use it for.
Yeah, or it has passive ability, but
realistically,
I think it makes a big enough like change in momentum though, because you get a big vehicle and you're taking away one of their things. It's pretty good removal.
Fair.
It's definitely very good removal, honestly, I would say.
Cool.
So realistically, it lands at like the 7 area ish for me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm gonna take that as you agree. Rangers Refueler. This is a 3/3 vehicle that actually says whenever you exhaust, so it or anything else, you get to draw a card. So that is making your exhaust abilities really good. You want to kind of build into exhaust if you have a couple of these. And then it has exhaust where it can become a 4/4, draw a card, and it's just always a creature, which I really like because, now it's kind of, it plays as like a 6-drop, draw a card, 4/4.
Yeah.
That makes your other exhaust abilities draw a card. Pretty good. I think this lands at like the 5 for me.
Okay, cool. Repurposing Bay. Artifact. You can pay to tap it, sack another artifact, search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1, plus the sacrifice artifact's mana value. Put that card on the battlefield, then shuffle, activate only the sorcery. I don't know, y'all. Like, that just seems like a lot.
Okay, so what this says is pay to tap it, sack a 2-drop artifact, get a 3-drop artifact. Pay to tap it, sack a 3-drop artifact, get a 4-drop artifact.
Yeah, but it just.
I don't think this is playable
It's
at
not.
all
It's just not.
I do not think this is playable at all in limited. It is playable in constructed because this says, I want a 5-drop artifact in my deck, in my 100-card deck. I just sack any 4-drop artifact.
Yeah.
And you can actually build up to it, right? If you don't have a 4-drop, you could do a 3-drop to get a 4-drop to get the 5-drop.
Yeah.
So it's a great card for constructed. I would never play this in limited. I'm gonna give this 1 out of 10. Like, what are you doing if you play this for 3 mana? Do not play this. But pull it because it's a pretty worthwhile card. It's like a $3 card. All right, River Churn Monument. Artifact for 1 and a blue. You can pay 1, tap it. Any number of target players each mill 2 cards. That's not going to do much for you in limited. Exhaust 2 and 2 blue, tap it. Any number of target players each mill cards equal to the number of cards in their graveyard. Okay, maybe I lied a little bit. So this can play into a mill theme, but you have to really heavily theme your deck around this. This is an extremely playable card outside of limited, but I think in limited you're going to have a hard time getting too much use out of this.
Yep.
So I would say like 3 to 4 out of 10 and only play it in those decks where it's viable.
Yeah. Alright, Roadside Blowout. It's a sorcery. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a permanent with mana value 1. Return target creature or vehicle an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Draw a card. It's a 3 cost. So basically you get it down to just be a blue if you're targeting a creature or vehicle that costs mana value with mana value 1.
I think it's fine.
It's good. I'm going to give it a 3.
It's the bounce spell from earlier, but draw a card. And it's not an instant speed, but it's fine. I think it's like 3 or 4 out of 10.
Cool.
Sabotage Strategist, flying vigilant 2/2 for 4. Whenever one or more creatures attack you, those creatures get -1, -0 until end of turn, which is fine. And then an exhaust ability for 5 and 2 blue, put 3 +1/+1 counters on this creature. So it can become a 5/5 flying vigilance, but you are paying a shit ton. You're paying 7 and 4 at that point. So you've paid 11 mana to make a 5/5 flyer.
Sure.
I think it's fine, but I don't think this is broken. Lands in that 3 to 4 category for me.
Alright, Scrounging Skyray. It's a fish pirate. Flying, whenever you discard 1 or more cards, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. Cycling 2. It's pretty good. I'm gonna give it like a 4.
Yeah.
You're just not gonna discard that often.
The blue-red theme is discard, so if you're in that, great.
But if you're not, it's not a good card.
I think it's fine.
Alright, next 20.
Yeah, I land around the 4 category as well. All right, Skystreak Engineer, human pilot, 1/3 for 2 flying, and an exhaust that can make it a 3/5. It's fine. I think 2 mana, 1/3 flyer is perfectly fine. You're going to be able to block any Thopters or anything like that in the air. It's also, having blockers in this format's a little bit better because of speed. You're going to stop your opponents from getting speed. So for that, lands around that 4 out of 10.
All right, Slick Imitator.
It's cool art.
Start your engines. Max speed 1. Pay 1, sack this creature, copy target spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. That's pretty good. I mean, it's a 1/3, so you're basically just gonna get to. There's the big fin bouncer in it.
That's pretty cool.
What? That?
Just the effect of this, I think is really cool. It's also just an ooze. I expected you to freak out over that.
Oh yeah, no, I knew it was an ooze. It's not my favorite looking ooze.
Oh,
I think my green oozes. But did you hear my thing?
Yeah, the big fin bouncer.
Yeah, it's the same dudes.
Nice.
Anyways, you're not impressed by that at all. It's okay. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I probably lands around the same for me. Spectral Interference, 1 and a blue, counter target artifact or creature spell unless the control pays 4. That's way too much, and this is a very effective counter spell.
Yeah.
You can hold this up in those first, 4, 5, 6 turns, and they're not going to be able to pay the 4. And you can definitely counter something huge with this. So I think it's very playable, 4 to 5.
Alright, Spell Pierce. Instant, counter target non-creature spell unless the controller plays 2. It's really just worse than the one we had before. Most people are going to pay the 2, especially if you're later in the game. But early in the game, they won't. So I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah. It's a little more playable in such a vehicle-heavy deck, set, because it will counter all the vehicles.
Yeah.
But, yeah, probably 3 or 4 for me. All right, Spike Shell Harrier. This one's really nice. I like this one. 5-drop 4/4 that basically says a shit ton to say bounce something, and then if they have higher speed, you get to reduce it by 1. But I love that. 5 mana 4/4 and bounce something of your opponents is just a really, really good card. So I think it's very playable. Lands in that 5, maybe eking into 6 out of 10 for me.
Alright, Stall Out. It's a 2-cost sorcery. Tap target creature or vehicle, then put 3 stun counters on it. It's also got cycling too. Pretty good, honestly. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Cool. I like it. Yeah, it's good pseudo removal. It doesn't remove it, but pseudo removal. And it has cycling. All right, stock up. 2 and a blue. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. That's pretty cool. You get to really kind of go get what you want. It can also play into some sort of draw themes if you do happen to have those. I think it's perfectly fine. I don't think it's crazy. Lands around 4 out of 10.
Alright, Sculptor Fabricator. It is a 3-cost artifact vehicle flying. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 colorless sculptor artifact creature token with flying. It's got crew 2. Alright, it's a 4/4. Basically, you're just going to be wanting to pull into that second card each turn. And then you've got things to crew it. So I'm going to give it probably, 6.
Yeah, for me, this lands maybe more in the 4, just because I think it's really hard to draw your second card per turn in this set. There's just... okay, cycling helps, but that's on your turn, so I just...
It's terrible.
Lands maybe 4 or 5 for me, but
okay.
Same reasons. Alright, trade the helm. Exchange control of target artifact or creature you control and target artifact or creature an opponent controls. I didn't know that was in this set. 5 mana seems interesting for that. I love the idea of that card.
Yeah.
But I don't know how effective this really is. The situation here has to be, I have something small and they have something big.
Yeah.
That's so specific. So I think I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10.
Right.
You agree?
Yeah, I haven't really been giving mine on yours.
Oh. I thought every time you've been saying, right, you've been agreeing.
Oh.
What do you think this one is?
It's not good. It's a 1.
I said 2.
Fair.
It's as close to a 1 as you can get without saying... I think it's...
below 2 except 1?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you were it's not good. I think it's a 1. I'm yeah, that's 2 is a 1. I think it's more when you look at 1 as the artifact thing earlier that just sacks an artifact, gets 1/1 bigger, and sacks an artifact gets that's completely unplayable. So I feel this has more potential than that.
Alright, Transit Mage is a 3. Human Wizard. When this creature enters, you may search your library for an artifact card with mana value 4 or 5. Reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle. It's a 2/2. I don't know, y'all. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna give it a 3.
I give it a little more than that. This one's nice. It draws you a card. 2/2 for 3 that draws you a card of your choosing. This can go get you Possession Engine and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. All right, next we have Trip Up. Target non-land permanent owners puts it on their choice at the top or bottom of their library. So we've seen this before, usually around 4 mana-ish, and this one has cycling. I think it's totally fine. 4 out of 10.
Cool. Alright, a simple plan. It's a 3-cost. At the beginning of your end step, put on top all non-land permanents you control. It's pretty damn good. I don't know what y'all want me to say. It's a solid 8.
Yeah, I think it's very good.
Because it just sits there and it goes, I'm just going to keep on tapping my bitches.
Yeah, I probably lands 6 or 7 for me, but it's still a good card.
Yeah.
All right, Vinwixt, Verbose Host. I think this guy's great. He's going to get your early start your engine trigger. If you pull him later and you already have max speed, that's great. No maximum hand size is fine, but really what you want is this max speed thing here. If you would draw a card, you draw 2 cards instead. Is so broken if he can stick around and do that. Even if he does it once or twice, you're just at so much advantage. I love this card. So good.
What was your number on it?
Oh, I'll give him a 7 or an 8. He's pretty good.
All right. We've got a Waxen Shape Thief. Shapeshifter Flash, you may have this creature enter as a copy of an artifact or creature you control. It's got cycling too, so it's just a 0/0. 4 cost. I mean, that's pretty good if you've got like something big, but or something has like a good effect, like an ETB trigger. But realistically, like, all right, you play a 4 for maybe something not so great if you're like really desperate.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually really curious. I don't know rules wise how this works. If you copy a vehicle with this, is it always a creature? Because this is a creature that you're having become a copy of the vehicle. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'd have to look into that. But I think because it's a rare, that might be how it works. In which case, okay, probably. It's a little better, but I still think the situation you need is a little tough. So it lands at like maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's just low.
Well, how do we do on time on that one? Significantly better. 20 minutes. That's not bad. All right, take a breather. Take a moment. Is there a reason you aren't giving reviews on mine?
Oh, I just kind of figured that like it might speed it along.
Wow, okay. And my opinions are just that wrong all the time?
No.
I was messing with you.
I'm just
saying. All right, you ready? Did you read this one?
Yeah.
Here we go, into black. Ancient Vendetta, because you gotta remember, there's also colorless and multicolor. So.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Choose a card name. Search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for up to 4 target cards with that... Yeah, no. Don't play this. 1 or 2 out of 10. Very unplayable.
No, 0. 0. Back... It's a 0. Back on track. It's a 5 cost. Sorcery. Return target creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Create a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token with this creature. This token saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. Pretty good. I'm gonna give it like a 3.
Yeah,
it's pretty good, but it's expensive.
Lands in that 3 to 4 to me as
well.
It's
expensive.
All right, Bloodghast. Oh, what a broken card. 2 black. This creature can't block, which stinks. But this creature has haste as long as an opponent has 10 or less life, which isn't usually going to happen. But what's really great about this one is just you're constantly swinging a 2/1, and whenever a land you control enters, you may return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it just like... It's just always constant, going. I think it's a great card. It's not a bomb that's going to win you the game, but by golly, does this break some constructed formats? And it's just fun and limited. It's a scary threat that just is going to come out quickly. So I like it. I don't think it breaks the game. 6 or 7 for me.
Awesome. All right, Carrion Cruiser. It's a 3 cost vehicle. When this vehicle enters, mill 2 cards and return a creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to your hand. Crew 1. 3/2. It's all right. I don't like vehicles very much, I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to give it like a 3. It's playable.
Again, for me, return to your hands basically says draw a card of your choice. So I like it a little bit more, but still not like 4 to 5 for me.
It's got to be a good card in your graveyard, though. Like, let's be real here.
But if they just killed your favorite vehicle, bam.
But
get it back.
But I don't like vehicles.
Chitin Gravestalker. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact and or creature card in your graveyard, so this can be significantly cheaper. And it's a 5/4 for 6. You don't really want to play it for that, but you can pretty quickly pay it for less. And if you really don't have anything to hit it, you can always cycle it. So I think it's totally playable. 4 or 5 out of 10 for me.
Awesome. This is a Crypt Caller Chariot. It's a 4 cost. It's a vehicle. Ugh. Menace. Whenever you discard one or more cards, create that many tap 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. This one is a pain in the ass.
Did you play someone with this?
I think so.
This is a good card.
It's a great card until you're playing against it, and then you just want to like tweak. Yeah, not only is it menace.
Look at that.
But when you discard one or more cards, you just create that many. It's terrible.
Yeah, I think that's very, very powerful. Realistically, that's the issue. In this, you're going to want to cycle. You're going to want to have effects that make you discard because then you're just getting bodies for them on top of everything. So and not to mention, right, you do that even once, those zombies can crew this 5/5. So, yeah, great card. I think it's probably like in that 8-ish, 8 to 9-ish category for me. So, very powerful. Was I at the bottom? Yeah, I was. Okay. Cursed Cloth Wrappings. Zombies you control get +1/+1. Tap, target creature card in your graveyard gains Embalm until the end of turn. The Embalm cost is equal to its mana cost. That lets you, like, bring it back as a white zombie thing. It's fine. It's fine, but it requires you to, tap it. A creature in your graveyard you can pay its mana cost to get it back, to then buff it. I think it's just asking a little bit too much.
It feels like a lot.
There's some version of this that's going for way too much. But
it's probably some anime version.
It's very playable in certain constructed decks, but I think in limited, it's probably landing in like that 2 to 3-ish for me. I think it's too much cost for not enough effect.
Exactly. Deathless Pilot. It's a zombie pilot. This creature saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. Turn this card from your graveyard to your hand. I think I pulled one of these. I don't remember that. It's not that bad. I didn't play it because I don't like black, but that's fine. That's just a personal thing. It's pretty good. I'm gonna give it like a 3.
Yeah, 2 mana, 2/2 is
back.
playable. 3 or 4 landing area for me. All right, Demonic Junker. This is a vehicle 4/3 for 7, but it has affinity for artifacts. So it should be cheaper. When this vehicle enters, for each player, destroy up to 1 target creature that player controls. If a creature you controlled was destroyed this way, put 2 +1/+1 counters on this vehicle. So you can make it a little bit bigger, and when it enters, you get to destroy 1 thing. Now, in draft, that's only 1 other creature. You only have 1 opponent.
Yeah.
So this definitely reads like a card that wants to be played in. Oh wait, Commander or something like that. But I still think it's perfectly playable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's a bomb though. Like 6 or 7 is 6 or 7 is probably where it lands.
Absolutely.
Oh, what a cool card.
Engine Rat. Yeah, someone actually played this at our pre-release. That's the word, you guys. It's a 1-cost zombie rat, death touch for 5 and a black. Each opponent loses 2 life. It's pretty good. I'm gonna give it like a 3. It's just a nice little, 1/1 Death Toucher.
I love the 1-drop 1/1 Death Touchers, and this even has a late game effect, so I'm here for it. I'm going to give it like a 4. All right, next we have Gas Guzzler, which I just love the name of that. Vampire Rogue 1/2/1, costs a 1/2/1. Start your engines, nice. Love to see that on a cheap one. Now it enters tapped, meh. When it's max speed, you can pay a black, sacrifice another creature or vehicle, and draw a card. So again, this is going to be a very worthwhile card in other formats and stuff. I think in draft it's fine. It doesn't break the game in my opinion though, so lands in that 4 to 5-ish category for me.
Okay, Gastel Raider. 2 and a black, Vampire Rogue, start your engines. When this creature enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an instant or sorcery card from it. That player discards that card. Max speed, this creature gets +1/+1, has menace. It's a 2/1. I'm gonna give it a 3. It's nice that you can choose an instant or sorcery card to discard, but they have to have an instant or sorcery card. So realistically, honestly, guys, I'm actually gonna go down to a 2. The fact that this max speed only has +1/+1 and menace. Menace is gonna murder it. It's gonna murder it. They're not gonna let a 3/2 through. They're gonna kill it, even with menace, because you're not gonna be able to kill both their creatures most likely. I just not a regular card. I'm gonna
this just doesn't do enough for me either. Nope. It probably lands in that 3-ish category for me. All right, Gaunty Knight Minister. I love Gaunty, but this is a shit ton of words on a card. 4 mana, 3/4. Whenever a player casts a spell they don't own, that player creates a treasure token. So this reads like a commander. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller looks at the top card of that opponent's library and exiles it face down. They may play that. Okay, yeah. So this is
this is a commander.
But to be fair, 4 mana, 3/4. That whenever your creatures deal damage, you get to look at the top card of that person's library, exile it face down, and then play it. Yeah, that's playable. I like it. It's just, I don't think it's a crazy bomb. It probably lands in the 7-ish category for me.
Yeah, that feels right.
But again, 7s are way playable. So if you pull it, play it.
Alright, Grim Bauble. It's a 1-cost artifact. When this artifact enters, target creature an opponent controls with -2/-2 until the turn. For 2 and a black, you can tap and sack this artifact and surveil 2. It's alright. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yeah, it's a worse stab with some surveilling, but the instant speed of stab was what made it so good. So
yeah. They took away the good parts of stab.
Give it around the same. Alright, next we have Grim Javelinier? Javelineer? I don't know.
Javelineer.
Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When that creature dies this turn, surveil 1. So that's a little weird. But maybe you choose it as a 4/2. I don't know for sure. This seems fine, but lands in the 3 or 4 area for me.
Alright, Hellish Sideswipe. It's a 1-cost sorcery as an additional cost to cat.
I'm so sorry.
Because every time we stop talking like that, it's because I realized I can't see part of the card.
They can see it.
Yeah, I can't. The little mouse makes a little thing and I can't see.
Well, no, I'm saying they can see when it does that.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know. Because half the time that something weird happens, y'all can't actually see it because we're on PlayStation or something. At an additional cost to cast this spell, sack an artifact or creature. The start target creature or vehicle. If a sacrificed permanent was a vehicle, draw a card.
I think it's fine. It's nice if you have if you do a Thopter and to destroy their thing.
Yeah, a little token Thopter you had.
You might be in a situation where you only have a decent creature, so then you have to you have to 2-for-1 yourself. All right,
literally just to get rid of one thing of theirs.
3 or 4 out of 10 for me, maybe. Hour of Victory. Enchantment. Start your engines 2 and a black. When this enchantment enters, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, so that should be noted.
Yep.
Max speed, 1 and a black. Sack this enchantment, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. I think that's very playable. I mean, you play it out, you get your engines going, you get a body, and then later you can sack it to go get whatever you want if it's still around when you have max speed. Pretty good. Not broken, but pretty good.
Yeah.
Lands at like 5 maybe for me. 5 to 6. I don't know.
Intimidation Tactics. This is a 1-cost sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You would choose an artifact or creature card from it. Exile that card. Sack from 3. Once again, they're probably gonna have a creature, but sometimes you just pull that. You have that. You're the person that has that hand that just does not have any creatures or anything. You run the risk that they don't have either of those, or they don't have anything good. It's not their best cards in their hand, and you exile Nesting Bot. But they've got who knows what big boy in there coming up. They're about to pull it, and you wasted it on Nesting Bot. I'm gonna give it a 3.
It helps that it has cycle, and to be fair, artifact and creature is way more likely to hit than instant and sorcery. So I can stand by this one a little bit more, but still 3 or 4 for me.
Yeah.
All right, here we have our Calaxion, Hunger Tyrant, Giant Crocodile, 7/2 for 3.
Oh, here's our vanilla creature.
Fine, it's our vanilla creature. I like the 7/2 on it. Honestly, I think it's very playable, right? 3 mana 7/2, you just kind of scare your opponents. They're going to be able to block it and kill it, but, maybe you give it flying somehow, or indestructible somehow, or realistically, you just hold it back as a blocker that goes, you're never getting anything that I can't kill.
Literally.
Now, to be fair, you could do that with a 1/1 Death Toucher, but
yeah.
I think it's fun. I like it. I like that they made vanilla creatures. It makes my heart happy.
Alright, the last ride is a 1-cost legendary artifact vehicle. The last ride gets -X, where X is your life total. Yeah, you read that right. Alright, 2 and a black, pay 2 life, draw a card, crew 2. So basically, don't play it unless you're at 10 life.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be lower than 13. Cannot be 13, because it will enter and die.
Well, not true, because it's not a creature. But you can't then crew it. If you ever crew it and you're over 13, then it'll die.
You can have it, but what are you going to do with it?
Get under 13 by paying 2 life here. Honestly, I love that it has an ability to get you under 13 life. That part is really nice, right? That, if you're sitting at 14, you can bring this out, do this a couple times, be at 7 or 8. But also, you gotta be careful. You put yourself at 7 or 8, and this is one body that you still have to crew.
Yeah.
If you're at 7 or 8, it's still not a huge creature, so this is a risky card.
Yeah.
But I love the theme of it, so I love it so much, but I'd say power-wise, it's probably in the 7 to 8 category, maybe. Maybe a little less. It's a little situational. That sounded like an agreeing, so I think she actually agreed with that one. What?
Nothing.
Did you not?
No, I did. I'm listening.
You seem out of it.
I'm not.
All right.
We're not halfway through the cards. We're getting there.
I'm trying.
I know, baby.
Locust Spray, a single black. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, and it has cycling. So this is literally just, again, in my opinion, a slightly worse stab, but because -2/-2 is nicer,
It's nicer.
I guess it has cyclings for what it's worth.
The flavor text is cute. Captain, the cowards are throwing bugs at us. I love it.
That is funny.
Maximum Overdrive. 1 and a black. Instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains Death Touch and indestructible until end of turn.
I love that.
Perfect.
I love that as a
Great.
trick.
4.
Yeah, it lands around 4 for me too. Momentum Breaker, an enchantment that says too much. Start your engines, 1 and a black. When this enchantment enters, each opponent sacrifices a creature or vehicle of their choice. Each opponent who can't discards a card. 2 sacrifices enchantment, you gain life equal to your speed. So I guess you're just doing it for this effect.
Ooh,
but
I get 4 life.
But it's
when I'm at max speed.
It's fine. I mean, you're making them sack something of their choice though, so it's very situational. Probably lands a 3 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Not super playable.
No, Mutant Surveyor. It's a 2 and a black. Mutant Scout. Start your engines. Pay 2. This creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Max speed. Pay 3. Exile this card from your graveyard. Draw a card.
Yes, this is Black's version of that.
It's fine. I'm gonna give it a 2.
No, for me this lands at a 4 or 5. Totally play. Well, not 5. Maybe a 3 or 4. Totally playable. I like that this 2 can stack, so you can really make it big if you have a ton of mana and just nothing to do with it later in the game. All right. Pack Doll Terror. This is an artifact creature toy. Whenever this creature or another artifact you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, so this is just absolutely broken in certain formats. But in limited, this is still fine, right? It's a 3/4 body for 4 that's going to be pinging your opponents if you're built into artifacts. Sure. And it gains you some life. I think that's fine. Probably like a 4 out of 10, maybe a 5 out of 10 in the right deck.
All right, Quag Feast. It's a weird name. 1 black. Sorcery. Choose target creature, planeswalker, or vehicle. Mill 2 cards and destroy the chosen permanent if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of cards in your graveyard. What? Wait. Okay, wait. Choose target creature, planeswalker, or vehicle. Great. Mill 2 cards. Then destroy the chosen permanent if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of cards in your graveyard. I'm gonna give this like a 6. It's good, but realistically, I don't know how good. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't seem great.
It screams constructed for me. Played in a deck that, like, in constructed, you're going to have a bunch of stuff in your graveyard. Or commander, you can have 40 cards in your graveyard.
You're gonna be doing a mill deck, you know.
But no, I don't love this in limited at all. I actually think this is kind of crappy removal, but... Because there's a chance you just pay to mill stuff and then not even remove what you're trying to remove. Like, I hate that.
You just have to, you gotta be counting your numbers.
That's landing at, like, a 2
That's
for me
terrible.
or something. All right, Rip Claw Wrangler. When this vehicle enters, each opponent discards a card. And it's a 4/3 crew 2. I think it's fine. I don't think that's great. Probably 3 out of 10.
It's built for something that's not limited. Ryzen Necrogent?
Sure.
Necrogent? I don't know. 4 and a black, Zombie Cat Knight. Start your engines. Max speed. At the beginning of your end step, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. It's a 5/4. That's not bad. I'm not going to lie. It's not bad.
I love that.
I'm going to give it a 7.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's up there. I don't know if it breaks into 7 category, but yeah, 6 or 7 for me too. I
realistically...
mean, if you hit max speed, this thing is just sitting there making bodies.
And this is coming out turn 5, so if you have something else that already turned your speed on, like, you might already be almost at max speed by the time this comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it could do that. If you're already at max speed, it could do that the instant it comes out. So this could be a 5/4 and a 2/2 for 5, and then it's just making more 2/2s if it stays around. Yeah, I like that. Risky shortcut. Draw 2 cards. Each player loses 2 life. Damn. I love this card, honestly. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fine, but like 3 mana, draw 2, lose 2 for just yourself is playable. You want to draw cards. So 3 mana, draw 2, you each lose 2? Yeah, I'm here for it. I think this is great. 4 out of 10. 5 out of 10 maybe even.
Alright, Shepherd Archfiend. 5 and 2 black. It's a demon. Flying. When this creature enters, all other creatures get -2/-2 until end turn. Oh. Cycling 2. It's a 5/5. So, it's only when it enters, and it's only until the turn. It's not that great. I'm going to give it like a 4.
Yeah, it doesn't even have like flash for you to use this as a combat trick. That's not going to kill too many things. And with so many vehicles, those aren't even creatures. So when you play this, they're not even going to get hit by it. It's just, it doesn't scream that good to me. Nope. I mean, you can play it as a top end if you need to, but for example, Nick, who we talked about, his deck had this as a top end along with the 7-drop like lifelinker the white card that's like a bomb.com. Did not need to run this as a top end. Huh?
Wasn't the cat one?
No, that's the 1-drop. He had the like 7 mana flying lifelink first strike like that had cycling with that one. No, because he never got to it basically. But he should not have ran 2 7-drops, especially because this one doesn't do a whole lot.
But Nick, if you ever see this, you're still great.
No, you're awesome.
We love playing against you. I'm just saying.
The white one was totally
We're just talking about your deck.
The white card you should have played because it's just you win the game if it gets online, but this one you don't win the game if it gets online.
No.
All right, the Speed Demon. 5/5 flying trample. So flample 5/5 for 5 with start your engines, and at the beginning of your end step you draw X cards and lose X life where X is your speed. So you are put on a time clock, but by golly, are you drawing cards?
Someone on a 4-turn clock if they have
so this thing enters as a 5/5 flample that draws you a card every turn and you lose 1 life. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. We call this a bomb.com. I'm giving that like a 9.
Yeah, no, me too.
9 out of 10. I mean, I haven't seen a card where I read it and I'm just like, you guarantee win yet. That's what I like to save 10 for. Yeah. Is like what's a good equivalent of that? I'm sorry to take a break, but like Foundations, what's a 10 out of 10? Maybe Herald of the Eternal Dawn that just like doesn't let you, like, you just don't lose, or like Dracoseth.
Yeah, those two.
Like, those are, I guess, good examples, maybe.
Yeah.
Bloodthirsty Conqueror is a pretty good one.
It is.
All right, you have at it.
All right, spin out. It's a 1 and 2 black. Instant destroy target creature or vehicle. Boom. Done. That's all it is.
1 and 2 black. Strictly better murder because this lets you kill vehicles as well as creatures
4.
for the same price and at instant speed. So yeah, 4 out of 10. You play murder, okay? People say it's too costly. No, you play murder. You play murder. Streaking Oil Gorger, flying haste 3/3. Start your engines, max speed. It gets lifelink, but mind you, this is a 5 mana flying hasted 3/3 that doesn't even have lifelink until you have max speed. I think that makes it fall a little short, and it hits that like 3 out of 4 category for me.
All right, Siphon Fuel. It's a 4 and 1 more. Instant target creature gets -6/6 on a turn. You gain 2 life.
That's expensive.
That's expensive, and it just feels like, oh great, one creature gets -6/6 till end of turn.
Like you probably kill it.
2 life.
You probably kill it, but if you don't need the 2 life, just play murder.
Literally. Anyways, moving on.
All right, Wickerfolk Indomitable. Artifact creature Scarecrow. You may cast this card from your graveyard by paying 2 life and sacrificing an artifact or creature in addition to paying its other costs. So it's a 4/3 that you can kind of like keep getting back, but you have to sack other artifacts or creatures. So I don't think that part's super great. It's fine. I'm sure there's like a graveyard theme that I'm just not seeing yet. But
well, we just don't like graveyard.
I'll give it like a 3 or 4 out of 10. I don't love it.
Okay, cool.
Here is our... Oh, wait, no, I was wrong. Continue.
Wreckage Wickerfolk. This is an artifact creature Scarecrow. It is 1 and a black flying when this creature enters surveil 2.
So I'm thinking blue. Woo! I'm thinking blue-black is probably artifact, right? Because there's so many
Probably.
artifacts in black, and there's a lot of artifacts in blue. So.
All right, 1/3. I'm gonna give it like a 3.
1/3 flying for 2 is fine, and then your surveil 2 is pretty good. I'm sure black wants to put things in their graveyard. So.
I'm certain.
Wretched Doll.
Ew.
3/1 for 2. Again, two mana 3/1s are pretty good for crewing things, and then you can pay a black, tap it to surveil 1 is fine for putting things in your graveyard, getting those synergies. So it's fine. It's not great. Maybe like 4 out of 10.
Wait a minute. Duskmourn is like a plane?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Pretty
that.
sure. Yeah.
Well, it says lots of folks on Duskmourn are more scared of dying than what comes after, or how wrong they are. Winter, which is I guess one of the things from Duskmourn.
Is one of the people, yeah. So Duskmourn, the people from Duskmourn are, so like when they go to Duskmourn, they forget everything, and they're named after the one thing they remember from the previous world. So in this case, he remembered the season of winter, and so his name was Winter. Fun fact, I learned that in a video, because I don't know diddly squat about Duskmourn other than that, because I don't really love the set, but, yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're through the black ones, into the red cards, because we got to get this going. Adrenaline
Hour
Jockey.
11 minutes in.
It's fine. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, this creature deals 4 damage to them. That's fine. Whenever you activate an exhaust ability, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature is also pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I think green-red or something like that is what wants exhaust abilities, so I like it. It's fine. It's good. 4 out of 10.
Flavor text matches the thing. Either I win or we both lose. Take your pick. Love it. Alright, Boomobile. Artifact vehicle. When this vehicle enters, add 4 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Exhaust. X2 red. This vehicle deals X damage to any target. Put a +1/+1 counter on this vehicle.
And for the record, you can use the mana that it enters with to just do that if you really wanted to, but it's only going to be on X = 1.
Exactly.
But realistically, if you have a different activated ability, this pays for itself, right? You pay 4 and then you get 4 mana back. So I like it. I think it's fine. Probably like 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Playable. All right. Burner Rocket. Artifact vehicle 3/1 for 2. Flash. Whenever this vehicle enters target creature you control gains +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. So it's a little bit of a combat trick there. And it's a 3/1 that can crew 1. That's fine. I think it's playable. 4 out of 10. Maybe. Ish.
Alright, Burnout Bastronaut. Creature Goblin Warrior. Menace or your engines. This creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Max speed. This creature has double strike. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you can buff it up and then get, if it has double strike with Menace, that's pretty decent. But that's an ideal scenario. Honestly, if this is my rare, like, I think this is a great 1-drop, like an insane 1-drop.
But if
so
this
because
is my rare,
of that,
I'm disappointed.
because of that, it gets like 6 or 7. But when I want a rare, I want like my late game bombs, not like an early game. Okay, this is tough to like
get rid of.
You know, like sure, if you play this on turn 1, start your engines with Menace, you're basically guaranteed to hit max speed. But
when are you doing that?
all right, Chandra Spark Hunter. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target vehicle you control until end of turn. It becomes an artifact creature and gains haste. So you get to do that each turn, which is pretty good for a 4 mana. And then on top of that, you may sack an artifact or discard a card. If you do draw a card, that's good for your discard effects. You can 0 out and just create vehicles, which is pretty nice. Or then 7, if you do get her to ult, which you probably won't, but whatever. You get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control enters, this emblem deals 3 damage to any target. Obviously, you just kind of win if that hits. I think this is a great mythic, but I don't think it's like wild. I think it's probably like in the, again, 7 category. It's better than like any other card, but it's not going to just guarantee win you the game.
It was actually, I got played against me.
Did it insta win?
We went for a while. We went back and forth for a while.
Okay. So, yeah, probably about 7, right? Great card, but didn't just immediately say, all right, it's over. Scoop.
Yeah, like, I kept on playing things, and I kept having to deal with
We'll get to a card later on that literally someone saw and went, all right, next game, you know.
Yep.
So.
All right, Clamorous Ironclad. Artifact Vehicle, Menace, Crew 3. Cycling. It's fine. It's a 6-3. I'm going to give it like a 3.
Yeah, with Crew 3, it's probably like that 3 or 4 range.
Yeah.
Counts on luck. 3 red. Ooh. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. I don't hate that as card draw, but you have to be playing this very specifically in a heavy red deck. If you're not in a heavy red deck, you do not want to be playing this. But I think it's fine. It probably lands in that like 4 to 5-ish category. Just because it's giving you that pseudo card draw. I forget what it's called right now. Impulse draw.
Crash and Burn. It is 3 and a red. Instant. Choose one target. Destroy target vehicle. Crash and Burn. Deal 6 damage to target creature or planeswalker. It's pretty good.
It's removal. 4 out of 10 for me. Duretti Rocketeer Engineer. I love that name. It's just the way it rhymes off. His power is equal to the greatest mana value amount artifacts you control. Fine, but he's a 5 cost. Whenever he enters or attacks, choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may sack an artifact. If you do, return the chosen card to the battlefield. Okay, so you can get like a vehicle back, and that's fine. I think it's playable, but again, when I hit my rare, I want something a little bombier than this. This sits at like 5 to 6 for me, and it just... it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Draconautics Engineer. It's a 1 and a red creature. Grab an Artificer. Exhaust. For red, other creatures you control gain haste on a turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Exhaust. Wait.
It has 2 different exhaust abilities.
Interesting. 3 and a red, create a 4/4 red dinosaur dragon creature token with flying. It's a 2/2. I feel like it's only really good for its first exhaust if you've like just made a bunch of creatures. And I feel like how often are we really making a bunch of creatures?
Yeah.
And with this set. Not often.
I think that's more like play this as a 2-drop as a 2/2 next turn, turn it into a 3/3 for like 1 red. You're probably not hasting too much out of it.
But still.
You could maybe, if you have like a ton of mana, you could make the dragon and then give it haste, which is fine. But again, this is a rare that's landing at around like a 6 to 7. It's still better than most other cards, but I want my rare to hit higher than that. It's supposed to be my like
damn.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to hit and people be like, ah, shit, you know.
Yeah, like, oh fuck.
Dracosaur Auxiliary. Okay, honestly, some of these red cards look super dope. Like, I did not pull enough red, but I would love to build red. These look like fun. I'm here for the dinosaur dragons, okay? I'm just saying, like, that's a good combination. 6 mana flying haste 4/4. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, it deals 2 damage to any target, which is really nice, and it's saddle 3. Very playable. You're a little low on your power toughness as a 4/4 for 6, but the flying haste is nice. And saddling it, you can start pinging things. Any target, so you can just hit the opponent, which is nice, or you can remove something if you need to. So, very playable. Probably like 4 out of 10, maybe even 5 out of 10. I like it.
All right, Dynamite Diver. It is a goblin pilot. It costs 1 red. This creature saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. When this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. It's a 1/1. That's pretty good.
I think that's a great 1/1.
I think like a 3.
I mean, it's saddling wonderful. It's it's like a 5 out of 10 for me. That's exactly what you want out of 1/1. Indrider Catalyzer. Start your engines 3/1 as a 2-drop. We talked about our 2-drop 3/1s. This is following the same thing. At max speed, it tots for 2 red, which is honestly pretty nice. That probably bumps it into like that 4 out of 10-ish category for me. I like that card.
Sorry, yo, I had to like stretch.
Indrider Spike Spitter, Human Mercenary 3. We don't have time for this. 4 mana, 3/4 reach. Start your engines when it hits. At max speed, this one, at the beginning of your upkeep, you exile the top card of your library, so you get that sort of impulse draw. I really like this, because 4 mana, 3/4 is a pretty decent body. It's got reach as well, so that's going to help like stop your opponent's speed. And then if you do have max speed, it's acting as that enchantment, where you're just, at the beginning of each upkeep, you're getting to have that impulse draw. I love it.
Alright, cool. Feel the Flames. 2 and a red. Instant Feel of Flames deals 2 damage to each creature. Cycling 2. I'm gonna move 5.
I don't love these cards. I'm giving it like a 3. Because it deals damage to your creatures too. You know, like I just...
You're right.
I
give
just
it a
don't
3.
know. Yeah, it lands a little falls a little flat for me. Full Throttle, 4 and 2 red. I assume this works really well, but after this main phase, there are 2 additional combat phases. Ooh. At the beginning of each combat this turn, untap all creatures that attack this turn, which is really cool. So you do your combat, and then you play this, and you just get 2 more combats. Very playable and constructed, but in Limited, this is what we call win more. Because you have to have the board state to even attack in the first place if you even want to attack 2 more times. So if you have the greater board state, this will win you the game. But if you don't, it does nothing. And if you already have the greater board state, you're headed towards winning the game. So because of that, I actually think this is like in the 3-ish, a 3 maybe 4 out of 10 category, because it's just not going to do a whole lot. No, this is going to sit in your hand, and you're going to go, you know what I wish I had? A creature that I could use this to attack with rather than this. So anyways, all right, next card.
All right, Castle Blockbuster. It's a 2 in red. We don't have time for me to stretch. We have time for that.
Time for what?
I love you. All right, 2 and a red.
2 and a red for a 3/2. Human Berserk.
When this creature enters, you may sacrifice a creature or vehicle. When you do, destroy target artifact and opponent controls. 2.
I think it's fine. It's removal, but it's definitely not our best removal. Lands at like 3 or 4 for me.
All right, Gasol Thrill Roller. 2 and a red. Vehicles, trample, haste. When this vehicle enters, it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Create 2 for a 2 and a red. You can discard a card and return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Activate only the sorcery to 4/2. Once again, my rares are not screaming at me.
We don't even have time for me to read cards now because she just gunned it into 2 in a row there. I don't even know if you realized.
I was intentional.
Okay.
Because you went, I was just finishing my little stretch and you went, we don't got time for this.
I agree. This falls short of what I want from my rares, right? Like, all right. Gilded Goda? I don't know. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, create a treasure token. I actually like this. 2/2 for 2 that you can get treasure tokens off of is actually pretty powerful. Again, lands at like 4 to 5 out of 10 for me. If you can have like a 1-drop that's saddling this, you can do the whole like green dude that we're going to see in a little bit. Oh, good
Can't wait for my green cards, you guys. I wanted to get there. Goblin Surveyor, 2 and a red. Trample, start your engines. Max speed, 3. Exile this card from your graveyard, draw a card.
So every color has one of these. Every color has one of these.
3/2. It ain't that great.
Yeah, it's not great.
I'm giving it a 3.
It's got trample, but it hits your start your engine if you haven't yet, but yeah.
Your whole max speed doesn't even give it more power.
Grease Wrench Goblin, 1 red, 2/1 with an exhaust. Discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. I think it's fine. I like the body of a 2/1 for 1. That's decent for like saddling purposes and stuff, or crewing, etc. But yeah, I think it's fine. 4 out of 10, probably.
All right, Hazoret, Godseeker, 1/2. 1 and a red. Whoo, Lord. Oh, legendary creature god. Interesting. Indestructible haste. Start your engines. Oh. 1 tap. Target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked turn. Hazoret can't attack or block unless you have max speed. It's a 5/3. So you just bring it out.
Indestructible. Turn 2 indestructible hasted 5/3 is so powerful if it didn't have this last bit. Because of this last bit, it lands at like a 7. I mean, it has haste so that you can do this ability the turn it comes out. So you can pay 3 mana to make target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. So you're going to get to max speed because you can make your creatures unblockable. But by the time you have, the 5/3 isn't as useful anymore. No. Don't get me wrong, the indestructible is really nice. Like, a 5 power body with indestructible is just really good. You hang it back as a blocker and like no one ever swings anything at you.
But you can't even block with it until you've got max speed.
I still think this lands at like the 8 out of 10 category. This is gonna if you see someone play this on turn 2, oh wait, it actually can't even block unless you have max speed. That makes it a little bad. 7 or 8. It's just gonna somewhere sit there. 7 or 8.
And be ready to be destroyed.
Howl Squad, well, it has indestructible, but
you could still get exiled.
Yeah, well, you said destroyed. All right, Howl Squad Heavy. It's a 2 and a red, 2/3. Start your engines. You know it's bad when it doesn't even give you the start your engines flavor or like rules text. Other
that's
goblins,
what you know we're getting late in the set.
Other goblins you control have haste, which we've seen a lot of goblins, so that's fine. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. That token attacks this combat of Fable. I do like because creating bodies every turn, and then max speed tap add a red for each goblin you control. Okay, yeah, this is a great card. All things considered, you have to build around it, but if you do, really good card. I'm gonna say lands at like 5 to 6 out of 10 for me. But
All right.
again, that's low for a rare. So
Yeah. All right, kick off celebrations. 1 and a red enchantment start your engines. When this enchantment enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Max speed, sacrifice this enchantment. Creatures and vehicles you control gain haste until end turn.
So you play it as you start your engines.
Basically, that's all you're doing.
That can do some card exchange.
All right, cool. I'm gonna give it like a 2.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 for me. Lightning Strike, 1 and a red. Lightning Strike deals 3 damage to any target. You play Lightning Strike, you always play Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike is an incredible card. 2 mana, deal 3 damage to anything is great. It's very playable. It's awesome. We love this card. It's great. 5 out of 10.
All right, Magmaking Artillerist. It's a 2 and a red. Creature elemental pirate. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, this creature deals that much damage to each opponent. Cycling 1 and a red. When you cycle this card, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. 1/4. It just wants to be a commander card.
Yeah,
it
has
like
too much each opponent written on it. I think it's fine, but it's going to be way better in something like that.
It is.
Lands like 3 out of 10 for me. Marauding Mako is a shark pirate. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. 1 drop, 1/1 with cycling. Okay, fine. If you're in blue red, then yeah, it's good. But if you're not, it's 3 or 4 out of 10.
All right, Outpace Oblivion. It's a 2 and a red. It's an enchantment. Start your engines. When this enchantment enters, it deals 5 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. 2, sacrifice this enchantment. It deals 2 damage to each player who doesn't have max speed.
Again, it's fine.
Wants to be constructed.
Yeah, it's okay. It's like 3 out of 10 maybe for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Pace Setter Paragon, I think is that.
Yes.
Yep. All right, human pilot with so 2/3 for 3, exhaust for 3. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and it gains double strike only until end of turn. It's fine. It's not great. Should be noted, exhaust abilities can be done at instant speed, so this is kind of like a little combat trick that you can do.
But still,
it's fine.
You can only activate it once.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not great. It's fine.
All right, pedal to the metal. Instant target creature gets +X/+0 and gains first strike until end turn. It's the next red. It's fine.
I like this honestly as removal in the sense that like this is as good of a combat trick as you need it to be. If you're sitting there like, damn it, I can't kill their thing because it has 5 toughness and my creature is a 3/2. Now you can because you just pay a little bit extra and now you make it a 5 first strike. So I actually really like this one. Probably makes it bump up to like a 4 when it's usually not for me. All right, Prow Catcher Specialist. Goblin Warrior, 2/1 for 2. Haste, exhaust for 4. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. I think it's fine. I don't think it's great.
Meh.
Lands around maybe the 3 to 4 area for me.
All right, cool. Push the limit. It's 5 and 2 more. Sorcery. Return all mountain vehicle cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Vehicles you control become artifact creatures till end of turn. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Basically, it's just pull all the crap out of your graveyard, swing the fuck out, and then it's all gone anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You had to be heavy mountain vehicle, but it could definitely win you the game.
Yep.
Definitely could.
Anyways, we're going to give it like a 4.
Yeah, same for me. Reckless Velocitor, I think. Yeah, whenever 4 mana 3/3, whenever this creature saddles a mount or crews a vehicle during your main phase, that mount or vehicle gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. So being able to give the mounts or vehicles trample is really nice and buffing up their power. Not to mention it's a 4 mana 3/3. Okay, it's fine. I don't love it, but I think it's fine. Lands at 3 to 4 for me.
Alright, Road Rage. It's a 1 cost instant. Road Rage deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker where X is 2 plus the number of mounts and vehicles you control. So once again, wants to be mounts and vehicles.
Yeah. I mean, 1 mana deal 2 4 minimum is pretty good. Yeah, 4 for me. Sky Crash. 1 and a red. Destroy target artifact with cycling. Only playable because there's so many vehicles in this set.
Literally.
But because of that, I think it's okay, but it still lands maybe like 3 out of 10 for me because there are other cards that'll let you like destroy creature or artifact or like fight creature or destroy artifact, things like that. But
Alright, Spire Mech Cycle. 4 and a red. Vehicle haste. Tap another untapped mount or vehicle you control. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on it for each mount and or vehicle you control other than this vehicle. Jesus. Crew 2. That's exhaust, by the way. 5/4. It feels like a lot. So I'm going to give it like a 4. Once again, got a lot of vehicles and mounts.
There's a lot going on here, but you can... This vehicle becomes an artifact creature not until end of turn, so that part's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's fine.
It's alright.
It's okay. Thunderhead Gunner. 4/5 for 5 reach. Discard a card, draw a card. I like this as a discard activated ability.
Yeah.
So on your blue-red discard decks, you need this card, basically.
Because you're in discard, so you can draw.
Because you want to be able to discard, yeah, and get your triggers. So because of that, pretty good. But if it's not in that deck, not as good. 5 mana, 4/5 with reach is okay. Lands at like 4 to 5 out of 10. If it's 5 out of 10, if it's the right deck, 4 to ish. The other one.
Cool. Tyrex Sword Tyrant. 1 and a red dinosaur warrior.
Vanilla creature. 4/1 for 2 is interesting.
All right.
I like it.
Yeah. Green.
We're in green. Praise it. All right, shall we?
Thank you, Jesus.
Afterburner Expert. 2 and a green with some exhaust going on here. 4/2. You can pay 2 and 2 green to put 2+1/+1 counters on it. And whenever you activate an exhaust ability, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield, which is really nice. I like that return ability.
Agensor.
Like 5 or 6 out of 10. Anyways, good.
Agensor Rex. 3 and 2 green. Dinosaur Trample Cycling. 2 and a green. When you cycle this card, put 2+1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature or vehicle. It gets trample and destructible in turn. It's supposed to be a cycling card. Why would you ever cycle it? It's an 8/8 for 5 with trample.
Unless you desperately need to cycle this thing,
but literally you're never gonna need to. It's amazing. It's fantastic. I played it. It's great. Your turn.
Yeah, I think it's great. It probably lands at like what 8 out of 10 for me. Maybe?
This was a rare that I was like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this hits at like 8 out of 10 for me. Maybe even a little higher. Yeah, this is a good one. Alacrian Jaguar is a 4/4 vigilance for 5 that when it saddles 1 can become a 6/6 vigilance. I think that's very playable. So lands right at that 4 out of 10 category for me.
Hey, Auteric Mammoth. I don't know. We're going back. 4 and a 2 green elephant mount. When this creature enters and whenever it attacks while saddled, create a 3/3 green elephant creature token. Saddle 5. 5/5. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I think there's better out there, but
makes a 3/3 when it enters though. So 8 power, 8 toughness for 6. Pretty good.
Still, gotta give it like a 5.
Yeah, for me it lands about 5, which is really good for an uncommon.
Yeah.
Beast Rider Vanguard is a 2/2 for 2 that you can pay 5 to like look at the top 3, put a permanent in your hand. This is only a late game ability, but it's a nice 2-drop that if you think you're gonna have stuff to actually hit with this, you could totally play. It's about 4 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I want this card. Bestow Greatness.
I think I pulled at least 2 of them.
There's a dog card that I want. I don't remember if it's this one or not. Bestow Greatness. 2 and a green. Target creature gets +4/+4 and gains trample until end of turn. Pretty good.
Yeah, it is. The trample is really nice. But 3 mana for your combat trick is like you basically need to use this to like kill a creature. Yeah. Or you're not getting good stuff out of it.
Ugh, Broken Wings.
We've all seen Broken Wings. It's really tough to play.
It's just it's been in everything ever.
Mm-hmm. It's like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah. Defend the Rider. Instant, choose 1 target permanent you control, gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Create a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token with this token saddles mounts and cruise vehicles though its power were 2 or greater. Pretty good honestly because it's an instant and it's only a green. So I'm gonna give it like 4.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a pretty good card. It can be a turn 1/1/1 that actually saddles it higher, or it can be a late game kind of combat trick. So.
This is the dog card I want.
Yeah, you want the district mascot. So one green, this creature 0/0, but it enters the +1/+1 counter on it. You can pay 1 and a green to remove 2 +1/+1 counters from this creature to destroy target artifact. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. So it's saddle 1. It gets bigger over time, but you got to get this bad boy out early because remember you have to attack while saddled to get those +1/+1 counters going. So this is really only playable if you're pulling it in like your starting hand. Because of that, I'm giving it like a 6, maybe even 5. 5 out of 10, probably 5 out of 10.
Alright, Dredger's Insight. 1 and a green. Enchantment. Whenever one or more artifact and or creature cards leave your graveyard, you gain 1 life. When this enchantment enters, mill 4 cards. You may put an artifact, creature, or a land card from among the milled cards into your hand. Great, crazy, you're going to gain 1 life immediately. As long as you choose, like, an artifact or a creature.
Yeah. It's good for putting things in your graveyard if that's your theme, but if it's not, you're just not going to play this card. Because of that, like, 3 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Earth Rumbler. This is a 5 mana 7/6 Vigilance Trampler vehicle. Exile an artifact or creature card from your graveyard. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Or you can crew it with 3. I like that because if you happen to have a creature that you just don't think you're ever going to get back, like if you're in a green-white or something like that where you're just not going to do that, green-red maybe, I don't know. It's a way to just get a 7/6 Vigilance Trampler. That's pretty nice. You can also hold that up as like a combat trick. Say, hey, swing at me. I'll turn this into a 7/6 and just eat your creature.
Literally.
No.
Alright, Elvish Refueler, Elf Druid. During your turn, as long as you haven't activated an exhaust ability this turn, you may activate exhaust abilities as though they haven't been activated. Exhaust 1 and a green, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. That's really good. I'm giving that a 6.
That's an awesome mechanic. So yeah, if you're in like red-green exhaust, that's huge. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's like a 5 or 6 out of 10. Fang Guardian, Ape Druid 4/2 for 4, flash. Whenever this creature enters another target creature of you who control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So it's a creature combat trick. These tend to be fine, but not crazy. It is a pretty good blocker body as well. So I kind of like it for that, but I don't know, 3 or 4 out of 10.
Alright, cool. Fang Druid Summoner. I'm seeing a lot of ape in this. Anyways. 3 and a green is going to have reach. When this creature enters, you may search your library and/or graveyard for a creature card with no abilities. Reveal it. Put it in your hand, and if you search your library this way, shuffle. 2/4. So basically, it's going to go get a vanilla creature.
Yeah.
That's all it's going to do.
There's not a lot of those.
There's
and it has to be,
5.
But if you have them in your deck, this is just 4 mana, go get it. So if you have it, play this with it. If you don't have it, don't play this card. So.
Exactly.
Greenbelt Guardian is a 2 mana 2/2 that can exhaust to become a 5/5, which is pretty nice. And you can pay a green to give target creature trample, which is very useful potentially in the late game. So I think a very playable card. 4 or 5 out of 10. Probably like 4.
Hazard of the Dunes. Whoa. Hazard of the Dunes. 4 cost. 4/4. Trample. Reach. Exhaust. 6 and a green. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on this creature. It becomes a 7/7. But then you've spent like.
Yeah, paying 11 mana to make a 7/7, but
feels
you know,
like
if you have nothing
to do with it,
nothing to do in the late game, fine. Or if you have those, I think there's a card coming up eventually that will make exhaust abilities cheaper. Okay, great.
Great, but like
it's fine. It's not great. I think it's maybe like 4 out of 10.
Fair.
This is our vanilla creature.
Oh, it feels early in the set.
This is not the legendary. This is just an additional vanilla creature.
Weird.
Gibberick Omnivore, 2 mana 3/2. Strictly better grizzly bears.
Cool. Alright, Luxodon Surveyor. Elephant Scout, start your engines, max speed 3, exile this card from your graveyard, draw a card. It's a 3/3 for 3. Pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yeah, 3 or 4 out of 10 for me. Lumbering World Wagon. This is a vehicle, a star and 4 for 3. Its power, the star, is going to be equal to the number of lands you control. And then whenever it enters, or attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield so it ramps you, and of course buffs itself as well. Now you can only attack with crewing, but that does happen when it enters. Very playable card. I think this is like a 7 out of 10.
Cool. You can do the next one.
March of the World Ooze, an enchantment that makes all of your creatures base power and toughness 6/6 and oozes, and then whenever an opponent casts a spell, if it's not their turn, you create a 3/3 green elephant creature token. That'll also be a 6/6 ooze unless they're casting a spell to remove this, which they have to, because this is the type of card I kind of save like 10 out of 10 for. Yeah. I mean, if you play this card,
it's so good,
and you have creature, you probably win, right? Like, or at least you're very likely to. Maybe it's in the 9 out of 10 category, but it's so
it's right there.
9 to 10 out of 10, incredible card. Bomb, play it if you have it, if you can. Don't force green for it, but if green is playable, play it.
Yeah. All right, Migrating Catcherdon. It's a 4 and 2 more. Dinosaur Reach. When this creature enters, you gain 4 life, cycling 2, 6/6. Do you need to get up and have a stretch break while I keep reading cards?
It's okay, I got it.
We've been sitting.
Probably like a 4 out of 10.
It's not great.
3 out of 10. It's fine.
All right, Molt Tender.
Molt Tender's pretty good. You can tap it to mill and then tap it to exile a card from your graveyard to add 1 mana of any color. So it's a complicated mana dork, but it is still playable, and I definitely used it to ramp out a little bit. So I like it. I think it's playable. 4 out of 10.
All right, Ooze Patrol. I love Ooze.
Only because it's a green card.
I'm gonna go cry in the corner.
Hey, she hated on the Ooze earlier.
Yeah, it wasn't that cute.
Oh, but this one is.
It's green.
Look at the tires made of hands.
I love it. It's like a sticky hand from when we were kids.
Oh, but the ooze shark from earlier isn't cool?
It wasn't a shark. I don't know what that was.
It was a hammerhead.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Ew. 3 and a green. Ooze. When this creature enters, mill 2 cards, then put a +1/+1 counter on this creature for each artifact and/or creature card in your graveyard. It's a 2/2.
Alright, so if you're in like green-black maybe or something like that.
Yeah, if you're in graveyard, it's good. If you're not in graveyard,
Yeah, alright. I like it. 4 out of 10 probably, something like that. Alright. Avaya Automech Artisan.
Perfect.
4 mana, 1/2. Each creature that's attacking one of your opponents has trample. That's pretty decent. Pay a green and tap. You may put a creature or vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you put an artifact onto the battlefield this way, put 2. You just get to put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield? That's as broken as it sounds. That seems super wild. If it's an artifact onto the battlefield this way, put 2+1/+1 counters on it, which is interesting. Like works with vehicles, but
yeah, that's crazy.
You play this card. Like, I mean, sure, it's a 4 mana, doesn't do a lot the turn it comes out, but if it survives and you have something else in your hand, you're just getting like free creatures basically.
Literally, you play this and the ooze thing, you're set, dude.
Pretty good.
All right, plow through. It's
like
a green.
5 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10. Anyways,
choose one target creature you control fights target creature an opponent controls or destroy target vehicle. Pretty good. It's better bushwhack.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go get a land with it, but it gives you a little bit more removal, so...
You can destroy a vehicle, which you need in this set.
Yeah, you definitely do. So, it's decent removal, like 3 or 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Point the way. 1 green, start your engines. So, again, all of these have like an early start your engines enchantment. This one, you can pay 4, sack it. Search your library for up to X basic land cards where X is your speed. Ooh. I think that's pretty decent because you can ramp with it pretty intensely. Like, if your speed is up to 4 or something like that, you could get 4 lands, which is pretty decent. But because of that, this one actually hits like maybe a 4 out of 10 for me.
Awesome. All right, this one is Pothole Mole. It's a 3 cost. When this creature enters, mill 3 cards, then you may return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. It is a 2/3. You know, it ain't that bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You get to go get lands.
I like to go get lands.
You don't even have to do it like it doesn't even need to be in a mill deck. It's just nice to go get the land because you might need that land. And odds are when you're milling things, you're going to mill a land when you need the land. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm going to give it like a 4.
Nice. Regal Imperiosaur is a 3 mana 5/4 dinosaur that gives your other dinosaurs +1/+1. You're probably not going to have a lot of other dinosaurs, but a 3 mana 5/4 you play. So if this does happen to buff something else, great. If it doesn't, you play it. It's like a 7 out of 10 just for being a 3 mana 5/4. So.
All right, Russian the Wreck. It's a 3 cost sorcery. Return up to 1 target creature card, up to 1 target mount card, up to 1 target vehicle card, and up to 1 target creature card with no abilities from your graveyard to your hand. Once again, it just wants you with vanilla crap.
Yeah, you can go get a creature, a mount, a vehicle, and a creature with no abilities. So you can return a ton of stuff to your hand, but you have to have the ton of stuff to return to with it. So it's a very built around card and situational.
Yeah.
It's fine, but probably like 3 out of 10 sitting on that one.
Honestly.
Next we have Run Over, which is the slightly better bite down, basically bite down, but it can be cheaper if you're using a mount or a vehicle. Yeah, it's a great card. Incredible removal, the best removal in green. At least at common or uncommon, so yeah. Great card. 5 out of 10.
Alright, Silken Strength. It is an enchantment aura, flash enchant creature or vehicle. When this aura enters, untap enchanted person. Untap enchanted permanent. Enchanted permanent gets +1/+2 and has reach. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I actually like these. So, like, combat tricks that instead of combat tricks, they're auras. So they do the thing, but then they stick around. I really like.
Really nice.
So I think it's much more playable than some of our other combat tricks.
Yeah. Oh, my baby.
Have him.
Sam, pitting Scurryfoot. He's Little Mouse. You have Exhaust, 3, and a green. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature and create a 3/3 green elephant creature token. He's a 1/1.
Did you notice he's running on a mammoth tusk? Yeah. Like, so that's the elephant it makes. It's so cute.
Exactly. He's chasing little little bugs.
All right, here we have it. This is the legendary creature in this. It's a dinosaur ooze.
Period. Here for
2 mana, 2 generic, and 3 green. So 5 mana, 9/7.
I'll take it.
Which, aka, you play a 5 mana 9/7. But yeah, dinosaur ooze. So, you know, if you happen to have that other dinosaur, it's going to buff this. But generally speaking, you play this card anyways. Yeah, great card. Like 6 out of 10 just for being a 5 mana 9/7.
All right, Thunder's Velocipede. 1 and 2 green vehicle, trample each other vehicle and creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if its mana value is 4 or less. Otherwise, it enters with 3 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Crew 3, 5/5, and that's a moment. It's
insane. This thing is so powerful. 3 mana, 5/5 trample with crew 3, and it's just buffing everything else. So good. This thing is so good.
This is one of those first mythics and rares that's really like, whoa.
It's right up there in that like 8 to 9 category. I don't think it quite beats out like the ooze enchantment, but one step down, so 8 to 9 instead of 9 to 10. Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great card. This got played against me, but I had the destroy vehicle card, so immediately played it and said, nope, not dealing with that right now.
Said no. Try again later.
All right, Veloheart Bike. This is a 2 and a green, basically mana rock that then is also a 4/2 vehicle that also gains you 2 life. That's just like a win in all directions. It's like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Yeah, very cool.
All right, Venom Sack Lagak. It's such a weird thing to say.
But it rhymes.
Lizard mount, but it's not a real word.
Venom Sack Lagak. I think it is.
Lagak.
I mean, it's used in other magic cards is what I mean.
Okay, well, yeah, but it's not a real word. If a death touch, whenever this creature attacks while saddled, it gets +0/+3 until end turn, saddle 2. 2/1. I don't like this card.
It's fine, yeah. I'm like 3 out of 10.
You're never going to attack with it. It's just going to die.
Web Strike Elite, pretty good. 2 mana, 3/3 with reach is pretty good. And you can cycle it out to destroy artifacts or enchantment. I think it's fine. So, yeah, this thing hits at like a 6 or 7 out of 10, which is great. And we're on a multicolor. All right.
We're zooming, people. We're zooming.
At Chick Emerald. Oh, it's your turn.
No, you can take it. You're
At Chick Emerald Radiant,
it.
6 mana, 3/3. When it enters, you're making some insect creature tokens for your artifacts and creatures in your graveyard. So you want to really have at least like 3 of those when you play this.
Yep.
And then whenever another insect you control dies, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on her, and each opponent loses 1 life.
Yeah.
Pretty playable card, all things considered. Like 5, probably like a 6 out of 10.
Okay, cool. Apocalypse Runner. It is 2, a black, and a red. Do you need water?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's got a tea packet in it, but you'll live. Target creature you control with power 2 or less gains lifelink until end of turn. Can't block this turn. Crew 3. 6/5. Pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
I think it's
I'm going to get like a 4.
Nice. Yeah, that's about where it sits for me. Boom Scholar. This is the one I was talking about earlier. Exhaustibilities of other permanents you control cost 2 less.
That's nice.
Now, its exhaustibility is 6 mana. Creatures and vehicles you control gain trample until end of turn. Then you put 2 +1/+1 counters on it.
Yep.
Not great. But I do love that it's just a 3 mana 3/3 that makes your other stuff cheaper. 3 mana 3/3 was already playable. I love this card. Like a 5 or 6 out of 10.
Alright, Boosted Sloop. It is a 3-cost vehicle. Menace. Whenever you attack, draw a card, then discard a card. It's crew 1. It's 3/3. Love the name Boosted Sloop. I'm sorry. That's just hilarious. Pretty good, honestly, because, well, whenever you attack, you draw a card.
Yeah.
And discard a card.
Blue-red wants to discard, and it's not this creature. It's just whenever you attack. So you play it out, and you attack with other stuff, and you're just getting
also,
that
it's only got crew 1, so that's not that bad.
And it's a Menace 3/3. It's pretty good. I love it. I think that's a great card. Like 5 out of 10. All right, Bright Glass Gear Hulk, 2 green, 2 white, first strike, trample, 4/4. Whenever this creature enters, search your library for up to 2 artifact, creatures, or enchantment cards with mana value 1 or less. Reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle. So if you're running this, you want to make sure that you have something to hit with it. But also remember, 4 mana, 4/4, first strike, trample is already playable. So this is a really good card. It is only so expensive over here because of Constructed, because you can... That can get your Soul Ring. That can get your, things like that. But realistically speaking, this is just a great card. So, yeah, I love it. I think it plays great. Probably like in that 7-ish area.
Oh, sorry. I had to like unstick myself from the chair.
Broadside Barrage. You got it.
Sorry, I was stuck.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
3 instant Broadside Barrage deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Draw a card, then discard a card. Not bad. Realistically, pretty good. 4.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Next we have Broodheart Engine. This is a black and a green artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1, which is pretty nice, basically.
Yeah.
Like, before you draw your card each turn, you get to check it and see if it's what you want to draw, which is nice.
Like,
and also, black-green wants stuff in its graveyard, so that also works. And then you can later pay 4, tap it, sack it, and return a creature or vehicle from your graveyard to the battlefield, right? To the battlefield, which makes this pretty good. I think it's fine. 3 or 4 area, but probably closer to 4.
Awesome. Captain Howler, Sea Scourge. He is a 4-cost. Shark Pirate, Ward 2, pay 2 life. Oh, damn. You gotta pay 2 and pay 2 life?
He sticks around. He sticks around.
Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. For each card discarded this way, whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, you draw a card by 4. That's pretty fucking good. Yeah. I'm giving that a 8. It's
pretty playable. I did pull this and almost ran blue-red just because of it.
We own this?
Yeah, we do own this. Yep, all 51 cents of him, but it's fine. Yeah, no, there was a chance he was worth something because he's a pretty cool commander. I mean, like, you could totally build this as just a commander. But,
absolutely.
No, I think he's pretty good. I think in limited he kind of slaps. I just didn't have the blue-red to build around him, but yeah. I didn't have the red. I had the blue. I didn't have the red. All right, Caradora, Heart of Alacria. She's a human knight 4/2 for 4, but she's pretty powerful because she's a 4/2 for 4 that also enters. You get to go get a mount or vehicle card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So she's a 4/2 for 4 that draws a card, but a card of your choice. And then if you happen to hit one or more +1/+1 counters, you get to put in an additional 1.
Cool.
And you can go get a creature that does +1/+1 counters, which isn't a lot of them, but you could still go get one.
You can go get
so
it.
she's playable if you're in these colors, but I don't think she's good enough to like switch to those colors. Another card I pulled but didn't play green-white because I didn't have the white. I had the green, but I didn't have the white.
All the good cards, people.
I had the blue, I had the green, I didn't have the black or the red, or sorry, the red or the white, so I played blue-green.
Nice.
But yeah, I think she's like a 6, maybe.
Nice.
A 7 out of 10.
All right, Cloud Spire Coordinator. It's a red and white human pilot. When this creature enters Scry 2, you can tap, create X 1/1 colorless pilot creature tokens, where X is the number of mounts and/or vehicles that enter the battlefield under your control this turn. The tokens have this token saddles mounts and cruise vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. It's alright. I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, I think it's fine. 3 or 4 for me.
Yep.
Cloud Spire Sky Cycle. This is a 4 mana 2/3 flying. Whenever it enters, you get to distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 other target creatures or vehicles you control, which is fine. When we see this, usually it's pretty good. This makes me think of like whatever that lifelinker cat is from Foundations that puts 2 +1/+1 counters on other things.
Our Savior.
Yeah, there you go. But see, that is a creature. This is a vehicle, but it has flying, but it doesn't have lifelink. So generally speaking, I think it's probably worse than that card, but that card was really good. So this probably lands at like a 4, you know, because that one was landing at like a 5, maybe even a 6, because it was really good. So.
All right, Colstow, Gear Hulk. It is a lot. Construct, Menace, Death Touch. When this creature enters, put target creature card with mana value 4 or less from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. That creature gains Menace, Death Touch, and Haste. At the beginning of your next end step, exile that creature.
Okay, so you get to steal something for a turn, and you get a 5 mana 5/4 Menace Death Touch that steals something for a turn. Okay,
that's like a 7.
Probably pretty good. Yeah, 6 or 7. It's greater than other cards, but it's not. Doesn't just like insta win. I love the look of this. Debris Beetle. 2 a black and a green for a 6/6 trample vehicle. When this vehicle enters, each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. Okay, it's fine. Better in a thing, but honestly, 4 mana crew 2 6/6 trample, very playable card.
It's probably a way to bring it back. It's green black. That's probably a way to bring it back.
So 4 mana 6/6 trample. Yeah, I like it. It's the crew 2. That's not too bad. So yeah, that's pretty good. Probably like a 7.
And then we have Dune Drifter. It's a white and a black and X vehicle. When this vehicle enters, return target artifact or creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Crew 2, 3/3. Alright. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yeah,
like a 4.
4. Yep. Cool. Embalmed Ascendant. 1/2 for 3 zombie with start your engines. When this creature enters, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Okay, so you're getting like a 3/4 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
And then max speed, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Pretty good. Pretty decent. I think that's very playable at like maybe even a 5 out of 10.
Alright, cool. Explosive Getaway. It is a sorcery for 5. Exile up to 1 target artifact.
Sorry.
Exile up to 1 target artifact or creature. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next step. Explosive Getaway. It deals 4 damage to each creature. That means everybody's creatures.
Yeah. You get to exile you get to exile 1 thing and then try to kill everything with it, but honestly 4 damage to like it's just not like that's not
gonna kill everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. And then if you have vehicles, that's not gonna do anything. Unless they're crude.
Alright. Far Fortune in I don't know, like 3 or 4 out of 10. I don't know.
Yeah.
Far Fortune in boss. Let's see, 4 mana, 4/5. Start your engines. Whenever you attack, Far Fortune deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's just whenever you attack. I mean, that's fine. Max speed. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 1 instead.
Okay.
That's fine and playable. I think in black, if you're in black-red, this is a great card, but I don't think it breaks the game. Probably like 6 out of 10. Probably 6 out of 10.
Alright, Fearless Swashbuckler. It's a 3-cost fish pirate. Haste. Vehicles you control have haste. Whenever you attack if a pirate and a vehicle attack this combat, draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards. 3/3. It's gotta be specific. That's specific. So I'm giving it like a 5.
Now to be fair, he covers the pirate part, so you just have to have a vehicle at that point. True. But yeah, it's rather specific, but if you manage to hit that, it's doing what blue-red wants to do, so yeah, it's probably like a 6 out of 10 for me.
Goodness.
Gastel Thrill Seeker. is a 2/3 for 2 Lizard Berserker with Starter Engines. Pretty early Starter Engines, so that's nice. When it enters, it deals 1 damage to target opponent and you gain 1 life, which should be noted that that's going to make your speed 2 because it dealt damage to an opponent.
On your turn.
I haven't even thought about that, but like when it enters, it's going to deal damage on your turn. So it's going to actually be at speed 2.
Yep.
Or more. And then it gets Death Touch and Haste, which is pretty nice if you're happen to bring that out later in the game. Pretty good stuff.
Cool.
Probably like a 4 or 5 out of 10.
Godlight Pathmaker. It is a 6-cost vehicle. Vigilance. When this vehicle enters, you may search your library for an artifact card and reveal it. Put it on the battlefield if its mana value is 2 or less. Otherwise, put it into your hand and shuffle crew 2. 6/5. It's pretty good, but it's obviously like it's alright. I'm gonna give it a 3. It's cool you get to go get something, but like it has to be so last that you get to actually put it on the battlefield, or you're still gonna pay for it.
It lands around that 3 to 4 area for me. I mean, it's rather specific. Next, we have Haunt the Network, which is 3 and Demure. Choose target opponent, create 2 1/1 Thopter artifact creature tokens. Then choose a player. The chosen player loses X life, and you gain X life for X the number of artifacts you control. So this is what Blue Black wants to do: is kind of late game get a bunch of artifacts and then kind of like drain them with a couple of these, which is fine. But at the same time, like. Again, you have to have like a pretty good setup for this card. I don't think it does great if you like only have 1 other artifact or something. You kind of want like 3 or 4 other artifacts. So you want this to be like get 2 Thopters, then drain 6 or something like that. But realistically, it's fine. So I give it like a 4 out of 10.
Yeah. Haunted Hellride is 3. Vehicle. Whenever you attack, target creature you control gains +1/+0 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. Untap it. It's a 3/3. Crew 1. It's alright. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yeah, I think it's probably like a 4 for me, but it's a totally playable card. All right, we have Ketramos, the New Dawn, a 3-mana 4/4 Menace Lifelink Indestructible. Ketramos, this is the catch with this set. All of these gods can't attack or block unless something. In this case, there are 7 or more cards in exile. Whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile from graveyards and or the battlefield during your turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life.
That just sounds terrible, you guys.
I don't think you could even play that. Menace Lifelink Indestructible can't attack or block unless there are 7 or more cards in exile.
Yep.
How are you? It doesn't give you a way to exile them though.
Nope.
Yeah, not playable. 1 out of 10. Do not play this card.
Yeah.
Trash.
Sorry. Kaladin Triumph Caster. It's a red and white. Human pilot. Mounts and vehicles you control have haste. Whenever a mount you control enters, it becomes saddled until end of turn. Whenever a vehicle you control enters, it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. 2/3. Great. So it's just a way to like use them right away.
Very playable in those decks though.
Very.
Yeah. Because it gives them haste, it gives them already saddled or creatures. It's just, this is an extremely good card. I would give this even like 7 or 8 out of 10. Just because, I mean, it's good. Cheap, but even then it's a 2-mana 2/3. That's still good. So all things considered, very good card. Lagrin, Soul of Alacria. So you have this card. Yes. This is a flying 1/1 for 2. But whenever it attacks while saddled, saddle 1, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target mounts or vehicles. You can choose it and then a different mount or vehicle. So this can very quickly become a very big flying creature. I think it's pretty powerful. I think generally it sits around like a 6 out of 10-ish area for me, which is really good for an uncommon.
Alright, Loot the Pathfinder. It is at 5 cost. Legendary creature, beast noble. Double strike, vigilance, haste, exhaust green, tap, add 3 mana of any one color. Exhaust blue and tap, draw 3 cards. Exhaust red and tap, deals 3 damage to any target. I think it's actually pretty good. There's a lot of things you can do with them.
I think it's fine. The double strike, vigilance, and haste is nice. You can attack with it because of the vigilance and then still use its exhaust abilities. Exactly. So this comes down as a 5 mana like, okay, over the next couple turns, I can do some different things, which is pretty neat. So I like that part of it. But
damn, there's a $253 version.
It is, that's the like special art stuff that looks like that. Yeah.
Ew.
All right. I'd probably give him like a 7.
Yeah.
It's my turn.
It is.
Mendicant Core Guide Light. This is Azorius, and it is a star and 3. Its power is equal to the number of artifacts you control, so this is a very big 2-drop, or can be anyways. Start your engines is nice, and then max speed. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, copy it. Holy crap, that's really good. Generally speaking, this is just a bomb.com card. I'm gonna give this like a 7 or 8 out of 10. This is a great card.
Alright, my Mimeoplasm, Revered 1. It is
your ooze god here, essentially. Look at that thing. Look at that thing.
As my Mimeoplasm enters, exile up to X creature cards from your graveyard. It enters with 3 +1/+1 counters on it for each creature card exiled this way. 2, my Mimeoplasm becomes a copy of target creature and exiled with it. Of a creature card exiled with it, except it's a 0/0 and has this ability.
So you get to just make this copies of things in your graveyard.
Yep.
But it has a ton of... It's way bigger than those things.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
You basically have to pick the creatures that you exile.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. I don't know if it's really playable in Limited because of the 3 colors.
No.
All things considered, I probably wouldn't grab this in Limited, but it's a pretty cool card.
It's cool.
I give it like a 3 out of 10.
Like, you grab it for the collection, but you can grab it to play.
It's like a 3 out of 10 for Limited, but it's a really neat commander to build, like, out of the game.
Exactly.
Alright, Oral Deep Gear Hulk. You guys haven't noticed, there's a bunch of Gear Hulks in this. This one is a 4-mana 4/4 with Lifelink and Ward 1. When it enters, look at target player's hand. You may choose a card from it. If you do, that player discards that card and then draws a card. Very good. 4-mana 4/4 with Lifelink and Ward 1 is totally playable on its own. It's also an artifact, so it's giving you those like synergies. And then on top of that, if they have something really scary in their hand, you get to get rid of it. If they don't, you still get to look at their hand. That's a huge win. You know what's coming at that point.
Exactly.
So, great card.
All right. Pyrewood Gear Hulk. It is 2/2/2 for 7. No. 2/2/2 mana.
Yep. 7/7. Yep.
Vigilance Menace. When this creature enters, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Menace until end of turn. Damage can't be prevented this turn.
That's a really good card.
That is. I'm gonna give it like an 8.
That is a red-green top-end win con. So
yeah,
very good. Like right at that 8 out of 10, maybe a little higher, eking into 9 out of 10 territory there. So Rangers Aether Hive. This is a 1 in Simic, Vigilance 3/5 with Crew 1. That's pretty good. Whenever you activate an Exhaust ability, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token, which is going to be able to crew this bad boy. So yeah, I love this card. This is probably like a 5 to 6 out of 10. Really good, good uncommon.
Alright, Redshift Rocketeer Chief. It's 2 cost, legendary creature, Goblin Pilot, Vigilance, tap, add X mana of any one color where X is Redshift's power. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Exhaust 10, a red and a green, put any number of permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. 2/3.
So the reality of the situation is that this Exhaust ability probably isn't going to do much in Limited because by the time you can afford something like that, even with this ability,
you have like maybe
even with this ability, you probably have like 1 card in hand.
Or your top
it was
decking.
like 12 mana, play a land or something like that, you know.
Yep.
But realistically, that's built in for the commander. But a 2
Yeah.
mana 2/3 with Vigilance that can just give you 2 mana for your other Exhaust abilities is great. This is exactly what you want in red green, and I love it. So probably like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Riptide Gear Hulk is the Azorius one, so 1, 2 white, 2 blue, 2/5 double striker, which is fine. Prowess is nice, but there's not a lot of instant speeds. Oh, I guess artifacts count for prowess, so that's pretty good. But it's non-creature artifacts, you gotta keep that in mind. So vehicles will count. When this creature enters, for each opponent, put up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. Very playable because of that. Double strike 2/5, 5 mana to just bounce something to their library. Very good. And the prowess on top of that, pretty good. So I'm giving that like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Rocketeer Boost Buggy. It's a vehicle. Whenever this vehicle attacks, create a treasure token. Exhaust 3. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Crew 1, 3/2. That's alright. I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, 3 or 4 for me. Alright, did get to play against this bad boy. Sap Sunan Luxa Embodied. This is a god, 5 mana, 6/6. Reach, Trample, Indestructible. Now, it can't attack or block unless it has an even number of counters on it, but 0 is considered even. At the beginning of your first main phase, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then, if it had an odd number on it, you draw 2 cards.
Oh, so there's like no downside to this.
No, the downside is that I killed Tyler in the very first turn it was out, so he couldn't block with it, right? But if I couldn't, that next turn I'm dead. You know what I mean? So like that's sort of the way that goes. This is an incredible card. This does everything that you want it to. It's right up there in that like 9 to 10 category. This is the bomb.com in my opinion. I think you agree.
Yeah. Same at the Driving Force. It's a 5 cost. Legendary creature, human warrior cleric, first strike, vigilance, haste, start your engines. Other creatures you control get +X/+0, where X is your speed. Non-creature spells you cast cost X less to cast, where X is your speed, 4/5.
This is great. If you're in any of these colors and you can splash this, I would totally splash it. I mean, this is a really, really good card. 4/5, first strike, vigilance, haste for 6 is totally playable. Yeah. And then all of this other stuff, buffing your creatures, making non-creature spells cheaper. I love it. Like a 7 out of 10. Sita Varma Mass Racer, Simic, 2/3, Human Rogue with an Exhaust X and 2 green and a blue. Put X+++ counters on this creature. Then you may have the base power and toughness of each other creature you control become equal to hers until end of turn. That is insane. Or equal to her power until end of turn. That is an insanely good Exhaust ability that is just wow. I mean, wow. That's a really, really good card. I would say that exhaust ability alone is making this like a 7 out of 10.
Nice. Alright, Sky Serpent Seeker. It's a snake, flying death touch, a cosmic. Exhaust. Pay 4, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal 2 land cards. Put those land cards onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Plus, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It's a 1/1. That's pretty good.
2 mana flying death touch is so powerful.
Yeah, I'm still probably gonna give it like a 4.
It's so powerful. I love this card. It's like 5 out of 10 for me though. Which I realize isn't far from 4. All right, Thundering Broodwagon, 2 black, 2 green. Menace Reach 6/5 whenever it enters destroy target non-land permanent opponent controls mana value 4 or less. That's pretty nice, but 6 mana is still just an expensive top end. You know, if you're not already in black green, this obviously isn't a reason to get into it. I think it's like a 4 out of 10.
Great. Veteran Beast Rider. It is Selesnya. One more. Human Knight. At the beginning of your end step, untap each creature you control. Pay 2 in Selesnya. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end turn. This is a great card. I'm giving this one a 7.
We talked about this. Uncommon, that's like a 3 mana 3/4 that also gives itself and other creatures pseudo vigilance, and you can buff everything with it. Such a good uncommon. Like, yeah, 7 out of 10. What a good card.
Yeah.
Voyage Home, affinity for artifacts, so it's probably not going to cost 7, but it could. You draw 3 and you gain 3 life. Wow. This is just an incredible card. I think it's very playable. But again, you want to be in something that's going to have a bunch of artifacts, right? Because draw 3 and gain 3, you want this to probably cost about 5. So you need to have like 2 artifacts on the battlefield. If you have more than that, it's great. If you have less than that, that's the risk you're taking. So, yeah. I like it though. It's probably like a 4 out of 10.
Alright, Winter Cursed Rider. It's a black and a blue. Human Warlock. Ward pay 2 life. Artifacts you control have ward pay 2 life. Exhaust 2 and black and blue. Tap, exile X artifact cards from your graveyard. Each other non-artifact creature gets -X until each turn.
It's a really interesting ability, but it reads more like a commander to me than an actual playable
absolutely.
card in this. Because of that, it probably sits at like 5 to 6 out of 10 for me. Zahur Glory's Past is a zombie cat warrior. Orzhov, 3/2. Start your engine. Sacrifice another creature. Surveil one. Activate only once each turn. And max speed whenever a non-token creature you control dies. Create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token. Is perfectly fine, but I don't think this is as crazy as some of the other ones. For a rare, this kind of falls a little flat and maybe is like a 5 to 6 out of 10.
Yeah. Alright, Aether Jacket. We're into the colorless.
Finally, y'all. We're getting there. We're almost done. We have like 40 cards left.
Which probably some of those are lands.
Yeah, hopefully.
We pray. Alright, Aether Jacket 3. Artifact creature, Thopter, Flying Vigilance. 2. Tap it. Sacrifice this creature. Destroy another target artifact. Activate only as a sorcery. It's a 2/1. It's alright. I'm gonna give it like a 2.
Yeah, destroying another target artifact with how many vehicles there are actually makes this a little bit better than I think. So for me, it lands at like 4. Because it's quite playable because of that.
Have fun.
The Aether Spark. This is a 4 mana Planeswalker equipment, which is really interesting. What this basically says is you can equip it to a creature with its first ability. When you do that, it can't be attacked like a Planeswalker. When that creature deals damage, you get to put that many loyalty counters on this thing. So if it's like a 5/5 creature and it deals damage, you're going to do like 5 damage. You're going to put 5 loyalty counters on this. Then what you're going to do is you're either going to do -5 to draw 2 cards, or you're going to -10 to add 10 mana of any one color. In Limited, this is incredible because if you can put this on your creature and hit, drawing cards consistently is insane. And it buffs up your creature. It's just generally good. So all things considered, you know, you enter, you attach it, you hit with it, hopefully, then the -5 won't actually kill it. It's just a really good card for a Limited. Yeah. So in Limited, yeah, this is like a 9 out of 10, probably 8 out of 10 maybe because of the downside if you don't have a creature.
Alright, Camera Launcher. It is 3 cost, construct, exhaust, pay 3, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token flying. It's a 2/2. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. Kind of what you'd expect. I'm going to give it like a 3.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's alright.
I think 3 or
It's
4.
common.
My little guy's in the background there. That little like Lynx dude or whatever. Guidelight Matrix is perfectly fine if you're in a mount or vehicle deck because you can saddle or crew them. And then, yeah, when it enters, it draws a card, which is nice. And it's an artifact for all your artifact synergies. So play it if you need to. It's like a 3 or 4 out of 10.
Alright, Lifecraft Engine. It's 3 cost vehicle. As this vehicle enters, choose a creature type. Vehicle creatures you control are the chosen creature type in addition to their other types. Each creature you control the chosen type other than this vehicle gets +1/+1. It's a crew 3 and it's 4/4. It's actually pretty good. I did pull one of these, I believe. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta be in a type somehow, some way. That's kind of hard to do sometimes.
But if you're in vehicles, your other vehicles are gonna count as that, and they're gonna get buffed up by this thing. So that part's nice.
Yep. All right. Done.
So because of that, it's like a 5 or 6 out of 10 probably. I did get this played against me, which I thought was pretty good. Double X spell. It enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, so you have to. The vanilla of this creature kind of sucks, right? So you have to pay like 2 for a 1/1, or 4 for a 2/2, or 3 or 6 for a 3/3. But when it dies, which is kind of what you want, you draw a card for each +1/+1 counter on it. So this plays pretty heavily into +1/+1 counter synergies, and it's going to be worth a lot of money for like constructed reasons.
Yeah.
But in limited, you're not getting a lot out of this bad boy.
Nope.
You really aren't. So I think because of that, in limited, he's probably like a 4 out of 10. I mean,
Cool.
this is tough to play.
Yeah. All right. Marshall's Path Cruiser is a 3-cost vehicle. When this vehicle enters, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. You can pay literally Wooburg. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. It's crew 5. It's a 6/5. I don't know.
Don't play this card.
Don't do this.
It's land fixing. So if you happen to be in a deck that you need land fixing for, that's fine. But you're not gonna ever do this.
You're never gonna exhaust.
I don't play this card. It's like a 2 out of 10.
Yep.
Monument to Endurance. This is a 3 mana. Whenever you discard a card, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Draw a card, create a treasure token, or each opponent loses 3 life. This is very playable, but you want to make sure that you're discarding cards. So if you're in like blue-red, this is very playable. If you're not, it's really not that playable. So you got to kind of balance it out. But personally, in the right deck, it's very good, but it lands at around like a 3 out of 10 for me.
Cool. Pit Automation. Pay 2. It's a construct. Defender. Tap, add to colorless. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Pay 2. Tap. When you next activate an exhaust ability that isn't a mana ability this turn, copy it. You may choose new targets for the spell. It's a 0/4.
I like it. I think that's pretty cool.
Neat. I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah, that's probably about where it sits for me too. I hadn't even read that one. Racer's Scoreboard is 4 mana. Start your engine, so that's nice, but you probably should have done it by now.
Yeah.
When this enters, you draw 2, then discard 1, which is nice. And then max speed, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, so that part's pretty nice. But generally speaking, it's just kind of a weird way to do like a mana rock, so it probably sits around like 3 out of 10 for me.
Fair.
Although the looting is pretty nice.
Fair.
So maybe like 4 out of 10.
Radiant Lotus.
This is one of the big hits of the set, $26.
Artifact. Tap, sacrifice one or more artifacts, choose a color, target player adds 3 mana of the chosen color for each artifact sacrifices away. Yeah, I mean, pretty good. It's expensive.
I don't think you can play this in limited, honestly.
No.
6 mana. This is your top end, and it doesn't do anything but give you more mana? No. You can't play this in
Nope.
limited. If you pull this card, you just lucked out because you got a crazy good, like...
Take it for the collection.
Yeah, I mean, just random side note, right? She has a clue deck. Yeah, this says every clue you sack is now 3 treasures. Insane.
Amazing.
Insane.
I can play whatever I want.
Yeah, exactly. I understand why it's $26, but it's
Yeah.
not for limited.
Not for limited.
It's for constructed.
You
So
take it if
this
you
is
want
a
it,
1 out of 10 limited.
but don't play it.
In fact, you should take it because it can pay for your whole draft.
Literally.
Do another draft afterwards. Rover Blades. This is a 3 mana 2/2 double strike vehicle equipment. So you can equip it to give a creature double strike,
Okay.
or it's a 2/2 with double strike, but only if you crew it for 2. This really confused me, and I actually thought this was a creature a couple times because it just like...
It looks like it.
It just kind of
There's
looks
a
like
creature on
it. I know that they did this, like, they do this banding on the outside for the vehicles to help remind you. Like,
But
that
that
is
doesn't
for
help me. I'm
vehicles,
not paying
but
attention.
It's a good card, though. It's like 3 or 4 out of 10.
Alright, Scrap Compactor. It is a 1-cost artifact. You can pay 3, tap it, sack this artifact, it deals 3 damage to target creature. You can pay 6, tap it, sacrifice this artifact, destroy target creature or vehicle. Oh, you have to pick one.
It's really expensive removal.
That's dumb.
I don't like it that much.
Nope. That's like a 2.
It's expensive removal that counts as an artifact if you're an artifact heavy deck. So only run this if you're an artifact deck, and even then, it's still like a 3 out of 10. Skybox Fairy, we have a 5 mana 4/4 flyer with crew 2 and some cycling. It's fine, but it's not very good. Hits that like 3 out of 10 area.
Yeah. Alright, Starting Column. It's a 3-cost artifact. Start your engines. Add 1 mana of any color. Max speed. Tap, sack this artifact. Draw 2 cards and discard a card.
It's
All
fine.
right.
You can get it as an early start your engines, and it does help you ramp. And the draw 2 cards discard is fine later on as well. Probably like 3 or 4 out of 10. Ticket Tortoise, I love that name. 2 mana 3/1. We talked about 2 mana 3/1s. This one has Defender though. When it enters, if an opponent controls more lands than you though, you get to create a treasure token. It's not as good as go get a land, but it is nice. So, for what it's worth, it's fine. It's like a 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10.
Alright, Walking Sarcophagus. It's a 2-cost. Zombie Cat. Start your engines. Max speed. This creature gets +1/+2. It's a 2/1. It's pretty good. Realistically, it's alright. It's alright. You gotta get it. It eventually becomes a 3/3 if you can get to max speed, but also, like, it's alright. It's just a good blocker, honestly.
If you care about max speed, it's a decent way to get that out early.
Yeah, it's a good way to just get it out there early.
It's like a 3 out of 10 though.
Yeah, it's not great.
All right, Wreck Remover, 4 mana, 3/4. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. You gain 1 life. It is a way to gain life as a 4 mana 3/4. It's playable, but it's not great. So again, I would just be wary when you're playing something like this. But it's like again 3 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10 if you need the life gain. But
all right. Okay,
we're on to
Raceway.
lands.
It's a land. Start your engines. It's a really good one. I pulled this one. Love this one. Tap, add a colorless, but at max speed you can tap and target creature gets haste on a turn.
Very good if you have a big creature you want to just like swing out with. Pretty good. So
exactly.
Very good stuff there. That's probably like a 5 or 6 out of 10
yeah,
on the lands. And play it early to start your engines. Good stuff. Avishgar Raceway is another start your engines, tap for colors. This one, max speed, you pay 3, tap it, discard a card to draw a card. You usually want to do this in the opposite order. Yep. So realistically, this one's not as great, but it is still a way to get your engines going early on. Okay, so we're going to just run through these really quickly.
These
the
are
way
quick.
that... run this land if you're running black-white. If you're not, don't. That's all I can say.
Because you can only activate the white if you control swamp.
Again, if you're running black-red, you can totally play it, but don't if you're not. Same thing.
White-black.
What does this one do?
White.
Let's see. This one is...
Country Roads.
Yeah,
Someone pulled this and it was so funny.
It does not say Take Me Home as flavor text, so it's a failure. This land enters tapped unless you control... They probably couldn't because of copyright reasons. This land enters tapped unless you control a mount or a vehicle. So it's probably a worse planes in that sense, but you can pay 2, tap it, sack it to create one of those pilots. It's fine. I ran this. I never used it for that ability, but I also didn't run enough mounts or vehicles to really need that saddling ability, so it's fine. Again, run it if you're running Dimir. This one is the same, but this one is in black, right? So this is still tap, create a pilot. Tap, sack, create a pilot.
Black-green.
Again, if you're running black-green, this is the... No. This is just a life gain land. Start your engines. This one's interesting. So start your engines, add a colorless, but max speed adds 2 colorless.
This is
a rare
colorless land that comes in the set because if start your engines, you tap to add a colorless. At max speed, you're going to add 2.
Realistically, in my opinion, better Temple of the False God for constructed because it has that benefit in the late game, but in the early game, it still doesn't. Because Temple does nothing, right? So,
yeah.
Night Market is fine. It's just you get to choose the color when it enters, and you can cycle it, which is fine. Reef Roads is the blue version that creates a pilot. And this is, again, play it if you're running red-blue. Is it? This is the red version to get a pilot. Play it if you're running red-green. Play it if you're running white-black. Play it if you're running white-red. I mean, these lands are definitely way better, but they're the rares. Again, if I hit this as my rare, I'm just kind of sad, but it's fine. Play it if you're running Izzet. Play it if you're running Simic. Play it if you're running Azorius. Play it if you're running Golgari. This is the sack for a green one. Play it if you're running Simic. Play it if you're running... it's there. It's right there. What is the name of red-white? Boros. We made it! We made it, ladies and gentlemen,
Island,
boys and girls.
Swamp, mountain, forest. Boom.
Done.
Nothing left.
Done.
2 hours and like 20 minutes by the time we end this video.
All right. The last thing we will say. Favorite card of the whole set. You've now seen it. You've seen the entire draft set.
Your
you could open any card.
The ooze or the mouse.
You could open any card.
Yeah.
What card do you want to open?
The ooze. The
That's
ooze
fine.
enchantment.
The fact that you talked about the mouse, though, please. You're almost guaranteed to open that card. I mean, you're not, because I didn't open it at all. But
is this going to turn into the cat again?
What card stuck with me? The cat. I mean, the mouse is a great card. I'm just saying, like,
He's
if I could pick any card, I'm picking a rare or a mythic, right? Like,
he's being mean about my mouse.
Man, what would I say? Someone opened up a Chandra's Ignition, and we didn't see Chandra's Ignition. So I wonder if this is only showing, like, new cards and not reprinted cards or something like that, but it's fine.
Who knows? It's fine.
If there are more cards in the thing, just don't tell us, please.
Please don't.
Please
just keep it to yourself. That's a secret. Okay, we keep secrets in this household.
It's fine.
Don't ruin our night. It's 11:21 for those of you that are gonna watch this on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's 11:21 at night. We've been recording videos since before 8.
It's been so long.
We've sat here a long time.
But it's fine. All right. Anyways, my favorite, the Ooze one is...
Ooze is so good. I'm so glad we own it.
The Ooze is very good. I think also maybe...
I'm taking your little eye dude for my deck, 100%.
The eye dude is awesome. I think he's great.
He's going to be one of the upgrades in my deck.
Incredible open. What else would I say that... See, the issue with that, again, is just that the max speed... You're not going to get max speed until he hits, but... He's still fine.
He's still a card.
He's still a good card.
He draws cards. I need to draw cards in that deck.
Well, if you have max speed. But luckily, your deck is sort of themed around getting your commander through, so maybe that'll max speed it a little bit.
Period. All right,
anyways, it's probably the ooze things, right? But
the ooze was so good.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that stood out to me.
No, realistically, there wasn't. A lot of the rares in this set are
a lot of the rares
disappointing.
A lot of the rares are a bit disappointing, if I'm being honest with you.
They are.
The Aether Spark is really cool, but that's sort of a lame answer, so I'm not gonna say it. But it is pretty cool. But I think I gotta go with the ooze enchantment. I just loved hitting that.
Ooze could be in a lot of things. Let's be honest.
There you go. That's true.
All right.
You have to be playing green, heavily green. But
but like
the Simic God that Tyler got is really good as well.
That's right.
That one is really good because it draws your cards and then it can be a huge thing as well. So, all right, those are our things. That's the live stream. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are watching this on YouTube and you did, leave a like down below. Let us know your favorite card in the whole set. Let us know your least favorite card in the whole set. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Let us know anything else down in the comments below if you enjoy this format of us doing this. I know it's a little different than what we did before. But compared to like the actual presentation. Yeah, exactly. Which were different videos. So, you had like 6 different videos to sit through rather than just one very long video. But it was an idea. We got some use out of the Twitch here. Woo! So that part was fun. And like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave those likes, comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a ton of fun playing Aetherdrift. I'm more excited than I thought I would be, but I'm also a little skeptical. We just looked at every card, and there's like 5 cards that I'm like, oh, I want to pull it. You know what I mean? And the rest are like, that's great, but I don't love it too much. So we're in that like weird interim, but I think it's going to be a fun draft set, and I'm excited to get into it. So if you guys are too, let us know. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Any and all of it is greatly appreciated. We'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, may the rolls be ever in your favor. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye, y'all.